Get you. Let's just start the show. Here's Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego, Southern California, what's going on? It's hour one of Jon and Jim, a bit of a special edition here of Jon and Jim with the earlier start time. We'll actually go for a longer show than we normally do. We are at the Pendry, downtown San Diego, for a Mesa Foundation event tonight, benefiting San Diego State men's basketball. We were at this event a year ago. It's called Top of the Key. We'll have a couple of great guests lined up for you over the next few hours, including longtime San Diego State assistant Dave Velasquez. He'll join us as we get closer to the event. Also, Wayne McKinney, who transferred from USD, will join us around 5 p.m. We're here until 5:15 because there is Thursday Night Football tonight. You know, the big game.
The huge game.
That you can hear on San Diego Sports 760. But good to be. First of all, we never get dressed up.
No,
this is not your typical Jon and Jim attire. We do this once a year
Mm-hmm.
for this event. Find us on YouTube, and you'll see us in a sports coat here today.
Yeah, if you want to see what we look like, all dressed up and fancy, just go to our YouTube page at Jon and Jim SD. You can find it there, and we are in sports coats. Hair's looking good. Beard's all trimmed up. You shaved. You got some new shoes.
Yeah, I got some Jordans on. You've got loafers on.
I do.
Well, I've kind of learned my lesson
they're
because
what are they?
Those are loafers, right? Dress shoes.
Those are the new
brownies.
brownies, remember?
Yeah, exactly.
The loafers, the new brownies, exactly.
Well, remember like a year ago, I kind of learned my lesson. We went somewhere. Where were we? We were being celebrated as like the best sports talk show in San
the
Diego.
business casual.
We went to a lacrosse event.
Oh, it's Snapdragon Stadium.
At Snapdragon Stadium, and I dressed up, and you were like, I can wear like jeans, right? And I ridiculed you, and I gave you crap for it, and you freaked out. And of course, being you were well underdressed, and you felt very out of place. And the entire night, you were just talking about how underdressed you were.
So I wasn't going to let that happen again. So I got fully dressed up for tonight's event, which is a really cool event. I mean, we've talked about the importance of collectives, and we'll get into it over the next couple of hours. But, I mean, in this world, we've talked about on the football side, like you got Trey White at San Diego State. He's got 11 sacks. That leads the nation.
Yeah.
And to retain a player of Trey White's ability, it takes collectives. And then on the men's basketball side, you see what's going on around the country. We're actually going to hear from the current Kentucky head coach, Lamont Butler, who made his exhibition debut yesterday. We talked about it briefly on Jon and Jim, but I mean, it's no secret. Like the way to stay competitive, I think Brian Dutcher said, the way to be sustainable and continue to have, success, the collectives play a huge role in a team's ability to stay relevant. And that's what San Diego State has been able to do, and they'll try to continue to do moving forward. And events like this go a long way in that.
Yeah. And you we're here, obviously the listeners aren't, but around us is auction items for the event that obviously help the Mesa Foundation and goes directly to the NIL collective and directly to the players. So yeah, events like this tonight are what needs to happen for a program now in the state of college athletics. Mesa Foundation, Aztec Link, like all of it going to the student athletes of the basketball program and the football program is so vital for the success moving forward for both programs here.
No doubt about it. So again, we're at the Pendry downtown. This event will be tonight. We'll lead you up to that and, of course, talk about what we typically talk about on Jon and Jim as well. You mentioned it in the update. Jackson Merrill has won a Rookie of the Year award. It is an official award, but it isn't officially the Rookie of the Year. He's been named by the Sporting News, the publication, as Rookie of the Year. Is it a harbinger? Is that what we're going to find out in the days ahead, that he is, in fact, Rookie of the Year? I think it goes a long way if he is, in fact, the official Rookie of the Year in the National League. Why? We've talked about it over the last few months. If he is, in fact, Rookie of the Year in the National League, the Padres will be compensated with an additional high draft pick, a pick between the first and second round. So something like the 30th or 31st or 32nd overall pick. But it also continues the conversation of, as he continues to garner awards and become more of a household name, and with his long-term future still looming out there. Now, again, they have him under contract for years and years. As a first-year player, he's going to be under control for at least the next 4 years, if not the next 5 years. But we've had this conversation at length. Like, what is the ultimate cost of keeping Jackson Merrill, and how willing are the Padres to wait in order to eventually pay him? You know he's a part of their future. Mm-hmm. The question is, at what expense will he be a part of their future, and when do they ultimately address it long term?
And they tried to get something done.
That's right. Before he even made it.
Yep. That's some big time confidence in Jackson Merrill. They had the utmost confidence in him that he was going to hit, and he absolutely did. So, while this franchise and AJ Preller, they haven't done well with first-round draft picks that have come up through the system and developed and turned into, all-star players and contributing players. Like Jackson Merrill's the first guy. For them to feel that confident about him, that's a good sign for the organization that it has worked out so far. It is just only 1 year still. We saw what happened with Corbin Carroll this past year after he burst onto the scene in 2021. He won the Rookie of the Year then, or not 2021, 2023, last year. He won Rookie of the Year, had an amazing season, helped lead the D-backs to the World Series, and then he got the 8-year, $111 million contract, and this year was a down year for him, for his standards, coming off of his rookie year. Like, what did he do this past season?
You're 100% right. I mean, his first half was anemic. He got his numbers back to respectability, but he hit 231 with a 749 OPS. In the first half this year, I'm pulling it up right now. In the first half this year, Corbin Carroll hit 213 with a 635 OPS. Now, in the second half, he had a 919 OPS at 259.
Which we love. I mean, that's a
very good half. But that does prove your point, which is as good as Jackson Merrill was, and it's real. That wasn't a mirage. Like, what we saw was real. Walk-off home runs, big moments, no prolonged slump, basically, for 162. We can't be assured that that's who he's going to be moving forward. Like, we can't say it for certain. We think that's the player he's going to be moving forward. I think that's what the organization feels as well. But does he have to prove it again? Does he have to go out to get that long-term extension, to get the Corbin Carroll deal, $111 million, 8 years, or whatever it's going to be? Does he have to go do it again? And if he does it again, does he make more than Corbin Carroll by a lot if he replicates last year?
If he wins Rookie of the Year over Paul Skeens,
right?
You're going to AJ and being like, 8-1-12 is the starting point.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's very reasonable, very doable for a long-term contract. I don't know how doable it is in the climate that the Padres are in right now with issues, potentially being there with the payroll and cutting some more payroll and keep getting it down to a certain number that they feel comfortable about. They don't have, I think, Jackson Merrill, they got to get it done right now. If they don't get it done right now, guess what? He's still on the team next year. Guess what? He's still on the team in 2026.
Yep.
He's still on the team in 2027. He has 5 more years left to control. Right?
Yeah. There's ways for that to be shortened based on how he succeeds.
Right.
To 4 years of control. But yes, they have him. You're right. For 5, 6, 7, 8. You're right. I mean, it's not something that you have to worry about in the short term. But is he going to be a cornerstone piece or not?
Yes.
And everyone says he will.
100%.
Right? And he has said publicly he wants to be here. The Padres have a desire to win. They've paid their stars previously. They will pay him again. But you made the point yesterday with old friend Ben Fadden at Talking Friars that if there is a priority, you would put Michael King. And I understand it. I tried to argue this point, but I ultimately gave up on it. You said that you would put Michael King over Jackson Merrill because it's just more relevant now because they're going to need him in 2026, and they're going to have Jackson Merrill in 2026.
I'm not saying that Jackson Merrill is not as important as Michael King is. I'm just looking at a checklist of things for the future of this franchise. And we talk about and only care about okay, what's going to happen next year? We are so invested in the year that's in front of you. That's not how AJ Preller operates. He operates in multiple years and down the line and guys under control for long term. And, when you look at the pitching staff in 2026 and you're like, oh, they have a guy coming off Tommy John, a 40-year-old, and that's it. Then you start thinking, okay, well, who are you going to try to extend here? Who do you have the best opportunity to extend as between Dylan Cease and Michael King? And the obvious answer is Michael King, because Dylan Cease's agent is Scott Boras. So when you look at that, you're like, okay, I got to think about the future and the now. Jackson is here for the now and the future. Michael King's here for the now, not the future. So with that in mind, I got to look at both, and both is Michael King has to get an extension, but Jackson Merrill deservingly will get one eventually. I have no doubt in my mind that he is going to be here for the long term, and he is going to get a long-term contract from the Padres. I don't feel the same way about Michael King, and I definitely don't feel the same way about Dylan Cease. That's why, to me, those guys are more important than Jackson Merrill because of my confidence that Jackson Merrill will be here for the long haul.
Right. And all of this, by the way, with the backdrop of the World Series starts tomorrow, and the team that's in the World Series on the National League side is a team that you played very well against in the regular season and played well against for 3 games in the postseason as well. Like that is still looming out there. And that's why when we started, I think, this week by saying, can you in fact just run this thing back, knowing that you played the Dodgers well in 2024? Can you just bring the band back together? The Dylan Ceases, the Michael Kings, the Jackson Merrills, the Mannies, and the Tonis. And yeah, I mean, there's a good chance your core is the same in 2025. Does that lessen the blow of what happened this postseason? I don't think it does, because even if everything remains the same in 2025, there's no assurance that Dodgers won't be better positioned. It's just it's still hard for me. Like one of my eyes is on the future and the offseason, knowing it's critically important for the Padres. They need to put their best foot forward. The other part of me is still on 2024. Like I can't escape what happened still less than 2 weeks ago, right? What day is it? I think it was 13 days ago. I was in Wyoming. It was a Friday night. It was game 5 of the NLDS. I mean, so it's like, yeah, you want to look forward, and you know that the Padres are pretty well positioned. They won 93 games. But another part of you was like, 13 days ago, Jim, we didn't have to look at how they positioned themselves in 2025. They were positioned in 2024 to do this. And that's what it's just hard knowing that you're a day away from the World Series. And it did feel like for a brief moment in time, the Padres were going to be representing the National League. And that's sports. It happens.
It does. It's not something that you can easily say, oh, yeah, next year,
all good.
Next year you'll be in the World Series. Next year you're going to be this. Next year you're going to be that. Like, it is so difficult. Would you argue that, well, because I might say football, I might say the NFL. I was going to say what's the hardest to like get back to, but the Chiefs just won back-to-back. The Patriots won a bunch. They've been how many Super Bowls Tom Brady's been to? 10. I was going to say, like, what sport is the most difficult to get to that championship? I think basketball, you could argue, like, I'm not saying it's easy, but basketball in the NBA, if you have a super team,
they get there a lot.
You got the best players, you're going to get there.
Right.
The NFL, you do have to have a lot of things go right for you, and it's a 1-game playoff. And so, I mean, basketball, NFL is very difficult, but baseball is also difficult as well. You don't see repeat champions every single year. You just don't. When's the last time a team won back-to-back World Series titles?
Right. The last back-to-back World Series winner would be, are we going all the way back to the Yankees?
We might be going
We're
back
going
to the
back
Yankees.
to 2000 when they won 3 straight. That was their 3rd straight. The last team to win back-to-back was the Yankees in 2000, which proves your point.
Yeah. So baseball is just with that data there, and NFL just seen a repeat champion with the Chiefs, and you've seen in the NBA, there's always repeat champions all the time, dynasties.
Yep.
Baseball is,
you're right,
to just not only get there, but to win one. And then to continue to get back there and be on the top and win, 2 in a row, like, just hasn't happened in baseball.
100%. No, 100%. All right, Chris Hodge is going to join us as he typically does at 4:30, and he will make weekly picks for our listeners. He's got free picks for our listeners coming up at 4:30, including Thursday Night Football, which you can hear on San Diego Sports 760. Dave Velasquez, longtime San Diego State men's basketball assistant, will join us at 4:45. Wayne McKinney, transferring across town from USD to San Diego State, will join us at 5 p.m. It's a special edition of Jon and Jim. We are at the Pendry downtown in San Diego. We'll continue to tell you why as we roll along. Plus, you're going to hear from Lamont Butler's current coach on the play of Lamont Butler now at the University of Kentucky. Mark Pope offering effusive praise for Butler. You'll hear that coming up next on Jon and Jim. Jon and Jim back with you. We're at the Pendry downtown, top of the key. Mesa Foundation supporting men's basketball event going on this evening. We'll talk to longtime San Diego State assistant Dave Velasquez coming up. Wayne McKinney, who transferred from USD to San Diego State, will join us. Chris Hodge will have some free picks for our listeners coming up as well. We also want to remind you that if you missed our 2024 iHeartRadio Music Festival, you can now watch the best moments exclusively on Hulu. See the biggest festival headliners from around the world assembled on one stage on one show. Keith Urban, New Kids on the Block, the Black Crowes, and more. This is the only time you'll see a lineup of superstar performers like this one on one stage. See it all at our 2024 iHeartRadio Music Festival, streaming only on Hulu. Are you uncomfortable wearing what you are wearing? So because we're at a formal event tonight, I think it's cocktail attire.
It is.
All the Aztec men's basketball players are going to be here. Donors will be here. They've got silent auctions, live auctions. So we get dressed up, right? And now we're not wearing a tie.
No, tie I think would be too much.
Sports coat.
Slacks, nice pants,
nice shoes.
Are those Vioris?
Lulu. Oh, I'm cheating on you.
Wow.
Yeah. No, I think they fit me better.
Viori shirt.
We are so unrelatable, by the way. For people, are like, what are you talking about? We're
so
unrelatable. Losers.
Yeah, such losers. Like, why are they?
What are they talking about
their
clothing for?
Idiots.
But
morons.
we're such like a fish out of water because we're so used to doing shows from the studio, or if we're out and about, like we're wearing a ball cap and jeans and we're just bouncing around town. When we go to a formal event, like we're Sports Talk radio hosts, we normally yell about Shohei Otani. And now we have to pretend like we have something like educated to say.
We don't have anything educated to say.
I mean, we could try. Nope. I mean, we do sometimes, but it's just we are a little bit
a fish out of water,
right?
Yeah, we are. I'm okay with that.
Right.
But I mean, I'm looking forward to the event tonight. It's going to be fun. It's Kristen's coming, right?
going to be here. Aaron's going to be here.
Aaron's going to be here as well.
Who else is at our table? Caroline.
Yeah, who is at our table? Are we getting like the big dogs at our table?
Yeah,
like,
right, exactly. Are we with Dutch?
We're sitting with Dutch.
Right.
Sitting with like Miles Bird. I mean, who are we sitting with tonight? Sitting with Coach Fisher?
Yeah, it's a great question.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to sit at that table. That'd be nice.
It's probably going to be like me, you, Aaron.
Here's the thing. We are 100% in the corner. In the very back.
You
by
think?
The bathroom.
We are by the bathroom. They're putting us probably by like the garbage can. Like, I mean, we're here, but like
I need to see the full list of our table because I need to be very prepared. Because you know when you show up at your table and you're like, I'm supposed to know who this is, but I don't necessarily.
Last year,
your wife's name is Aaron, right?
Your wife's name is Kristen. Is that how this thing is?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she was. It's funny because Aaron, I told her, I was like, yeah, you're invited, and she goes, well, like, what do I have to wear?
And what is Aaron going to wear?
Clothes, John?
Well, no, obviously. I know she's not going to come like nude.
She's wearing a green dress.
Is that cocktail attire?
It's a cocktail attire.
It's a cocktail dress.
Yeah, that she ended up.
I actually
made for this event.
Did she really?
Yeah.
I made Kristen change her dress for tonight.
What?
And I don't know why I did.
You told your wife
I thought what
wear?
she was going to go with was a little, I guess bold would be the right word, but Kristen knows a lot more about fashion than I do.
Hold on. So with you saying that, you know, that your wife.
Yeah. No,
knows,
she agreed
obviously
with what
knows.
I was saying.
Okay, but
she knows fashion.
Yeah,
she literally worked in it.
And you said, I don't know about that one. You told your wife she didn't look good in something?
I felt as if she had better
doing?
options. This was like, let's say you got like Robert Suarez in your bullpen. Like, go with the thing that got you here, which is like
Robert Suarez.
Like you don't need to throw a changeup. Like your fastball's elite.
What was she going to wear?
I don't know. You know me. How do I know?
Okay.
Anyway,
your wife isn't like this. Like
I thought
I'm going to wear something skimpy all the time.
She is or is not?
She's not. Maybe. Okay. Interesting plot twist.
Stay tuned.
Okay.
Stay tuned. All right. Okay.
Because guys are so easy. We're so easy.
It's so easy.
Now, sometimes I'm like, I don't like that shirt, or like, this doesn't look good. But for women,
there's a lot of options.
I see Aaron sometimes on our couch. If we are going to like
our couch,
if we're going to like a wedding or like an event like this or something that like dress up in cocktail attire.
Yeah.
She probably spends hours on her phone looking
for the right dress.
Looking for a dress and something to wear. And then she'll randomly just look over me and I'll look at her and she'll say, I hate you. Because it's so easy.
Because it's so easy.
For me, and it's so difficult for women.
I suggested to you off air, I think earlier in the week when you said Aaron was coming, why not just wear the wedding dress? Like she spent a good amount on it.
No,
You want to reuse the thing.
I don't think that dress will ever be worn again.
So that's a
one-time. It's a one-time thing. I mean, I could have worn a tux tonight. I could have worn something similar to what I wore.
Except we rented them, right?
Well,
did you buy yours?
I bought my shirt. The shirt fiasco of 2024. Did I ever tell you about that?
Maybe.
How the shirt, the rental shirt didn't fit
You did.
right.
Yes, you did. They didn't fit anyone right.
And right, but I don't care about you guys. I care about
true.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I spent like a solid week trying to find a tux shirt, and nothing fit me.
I do remember.
And
that.
then I finally found one like 3 days before the wedding, and I had to buy it, so I have it in my closet at home. My tux shirt from the wedding.
You could have worn that today.
I could have, but then it would have been just completely out of place.
I'm now very intrigued by the outfits for our wives. Now, I think I know what Kristen's wearing, even though, again, I axed one of the selections.
Okay. Yeah.
And you know Erin's wearing a green dress.
Yeah, but the green dress is something that I've never seen her wear before.
Okay.
Actually, no, I take that back. She has shown me. She sent me a picture. She's like, "Does those look good?"
Yeah.
And I said, "Yeah, it looks great." And she's like, "Ugh." Like, you know how it is. Like when you say like, "Oh, yeah, it looks great," but they're like,
they don't.
But you're always supposed to say that, type of thing.
Right. You should be like, "That's terrible."
That's the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. No, I know what she's gonna wear. But the good thing is, I feel very comfortable knowing that I, one, will not be underdressed.
Yeah.
And two, won't be overdressed. I am like perfectly right in that like good middle of comfortable, don't have to worry. I'm not like worried like, oh man, am I underdressed? Like, oh man, am I wearing too much tonight? Like that middle ground is the best.
I don't think you can be overdressed.
Yes,
I think if you're really well dressed,
you can be overdressed.
Okay, maybe you can be overdressed.
We
just spent an entire segment talking about attire.
Correct.
We will hear from the current Warriors on the mission game outside of an Aztec uniform. You're going to hear from his current coach, who offers effusive praise, but he also talks about San Diego State's program as well. That's Mark Pope. You'll hear from him on the other side. If you missed our conversation with Aztec defensive end Trey White, we'll have that for you coming up at 2:45 as well. He leads the nation in sacks. He joined us yesterday. If you missed it, we'll play it for you coming up at 2:45. We're at the Pendry downtown until 5:15. That's when Thursday Night Football is. Stay with us on Jon and Jim.
All right, this update is brought to you by Taco Bell. We'll start with Jackson Merrill. He was named today the Sporting News Rookie of the Year. The official Rookie of the Year won't be announced until later this, I guess, month or next month. I think next month is when the official awards get announced. And tonight, NFL Thursday Night Football, Rams and Vikings kick off at 5:15. You can listen to that game right here on San Diego Sports 760. The Slow Roasted Cantina chicken menu is here to stay with ingredients like purple cabbage and freshly prepared pico de gallo. Try it today at a participating U.S. Taco Bell location while supplies last. Contact store for participation, which varies.
All right, back with you here, Jon and Jim, a special edition. We're with you until 5:15. We have Thursday Night Football coming up at 5:15. We're typically not on the air until 3 p.m., so you're wondering why we're on the air. Well, we moved it to 5:15 with Thursday Night Football. We're also downtown at the Pendry. There is a Mesa Foundation event supporting men's basketball. Their Top of the Key event. We'll have Dave Velasquez, longtime Aztec assistant, join us at 4:45. Wayne McKinney, San Diego State transfer. He comes from USD, and he's going to join us coming up at 5 p.m. Now, we touched on this briefly yesterday, and I completely agree with the sentiment that I am thrilled for Lamont Butler and his family, the opportunities that they've created for themselves. They've done it for themselves, right? They've taken advantage of these opportunities.
Absolutely.
Everyone has these opportunities in college athletics right now. Do what is best for you.
Yeah.
Lamont and his family thought it was best to go to Kentucky for his final year. Certainly, NIL was a considerable consideration.
Yep.
He's earning a good amount of money. We all see that.
Yep.
I hear what we're about to hear from Mark Pope, his current head coach, who was a longtime head coach at BYU. They played San Diego State 4 times in 4 years. And I'm left thinking, oh, man. I mean, everything he's saying reminds me of Lamont Butler. So let's hear from Mark Pope. Kentucky wins their exhibition opener yesterday at Rupp Arena. Lamont Butler had this crazy stat line. It was like 11 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 6 steals.
Yeah, it was a pretty good game.
It was a really good game. And Mark Pope had this to say about Lamont Butler and San Diego State after the game.
Yeah, so, I expect him to have 6 steals every single night. I've never seen guys, I'm old. I'm older than everybody in this room, I think. Well, I heard one laugh, someone laughed. Where's the old guy in here? Mitch is over here like, hey, now. But I've never seen this number. So Lamont Butler had more steals than our whole team had turnovers tonight. I've never seen that, actually. That's really incredible. He's a special player. I've never coached a guy like him on the defensive end at the point of attack. Listen, I'm telling you, this Kennedy Miles is a terrific basketball player. Kennedy Miles is a terrific basketball player. He's a championship team-leading point guard. He's a terrific basketball player. He didn't have his best night tonight, but Lamont Butler had a lot to do with that. Like it gets hard at some point during the game, and it was the right decision. Drew chose to work a lot of 4 or 5 ball screens because it's kind of like you have this Deion Sanders, corner. You're like, we're not throwing that side of the field anymore. Forget it. We're just not going over there. And that's the type of impact that Lamont can have. He's incredibly special. I think you guys heard me say it 100 times. I think he's the best defensive perimeter player at college basketball, certainly the best defensive point guard. And he's also a great leader. I thought he was terrific tonight. I thought he got our guys started well. One of the great things about Lamont is playing at San Diego State. We got to play against him every year. And the show, if you haven't heard of it at San Diego State, is pretty insane. And so this environment is super familiar to him. He's played in the Final Four and National Championship games, and he's pretty unfazed. And I'm telling you, it's a gift to have a player like that you can just lean on as a coach. He's really special.
Duh. Like, there's nothing there that we haven't heard about Lamont Butler. He is now in his 5th year in college basketball?
5th year.
5th year. He's been to it all. He's been in the tournament every year. He's been to Sweet 16s. He's been to Final Fours, national championship games. He is a leader. He is a floor general. He's a guy that you feel comfortable with out there with defenders as far as, guards go in the country. And yeah, Kentucky got a good one, man.
Does it make you, though, does it get you sentimental and be like, when you hear Mark Pope say that about Lamont Butler, you're like, well, we said that about Lamont for all those years.
Look,
just got to turn the page.
Turn.
Yeah.
He did everything that he possibly could here. There's truthfully nothing left for him to accomplish here at San Diego State. Went to a Final Four, done. National championship game, done. Yeah, you want to talk about like what he didn't accomplish was winning a national championship.
That's hard.
Yeah, it's easier said than done.
Mhm.
How many Mountain West Conference tournament titles did he win? How many Defensive Players of the Year awards did he win?
Right.
How many game-winning shots did he hit? I mean, nothing that he had left to do here he had. So he went to a position in place, Kentucky of all places, to get some really good NIL money, to play basketball at a high level, and improve, maybe his draft stock or show scouts something that he needed to show them to hopefully maybe play in the league one day.
Yeah, I've said this before. I don't know if Aztec fans agree with this or not. You can text 70470 sort of a team, or you can enter our YouTube chat and comment along. Jim 760. I root for these players to be successful. I mean, I know what they've given. I know how hard it is to be a student athlete. It's not all glamorous. There's a lot of criticism of student athletes, right? They're under a microscope. I know what people say. We also see social media. So there's highs and lows with being a student athlete. And yeah, I understand it from an Aztec perspective. If you're a fan, you don't want to see your players leave, for other programs. But I don't know what you can really do about it, right? Other than wish them well and move on. And San Diego State's been able to continue to win at a high level, right? They've had players leave. They had players leave last offseason, and they still got to a Sweet 16. And they've had players leave again heading into this 2024-25 season.
Mm-hmm.
I think to root for anything other than success, to me, doesn't really make a lot of sense, but to each their own, I guess.
Yeah, the way of college athletics nowadays, I mean, we're at Mesa Event Foundation, or the Mesa Foundation event here downtown, right? And this is what college athletics is about. It just is. And going forward, for kids, if they're not getting what they deem the right amount of support from the NIL Foundation of their school, guess what they're going to do?
They're going to look elsewhere.
Yep. And that's why these events are so important for keeping this program at a high level. And it's nothing to do with Lamont, like, I'm not getting enough here. He just says I can get more here, and I can load up at Kentucky, of all places, and make almost like pro level money right now in college instead of waiting to see if you get to the NBA and then you get to go overseas and just make money now.
Yeah, and like you talk about Lamont Butler, and I think 99.5% happy with Lamont Butler. People on social media say some things. I don't know if that's how they actually feel or not. But Lamont, to your point, accomplished a ton here. He's got a San Diego State degree. And how often would any one of our listeners turn down an opportunity to make life-changing money? Like if you're out there right now and you make $25 an hour and you had a chance to make $50 an hour, or if you make $50,000 a year and you had a chance to make $100,000 a year, and so on and so forth. I mean, that's stuff that doesn't present itself each and every day. There's a lot of people that never have a chance to earn like Lamont's going to have to earn this 1 year. Like there's a lot of people, myself included, that are never going to earn. Like whatever Lamont is speculative to potentially make this year. It's $500,000, $600,000, maybe more. That's a lot of money.
Very good.
There's a lot of people that are never going to earn $500,000 a year. And if you had that opportunity, would you say no to it? Easier said than done.
Someone offered me like $20 more to work somewhere else. I would
just $20 or $20 an hour, just 20 in general.
I would do it. I would leave you for $20.
$20. That's fair. That's fair.
But yeah, dude. Someone offered you like, hey, John, here's $150,000 more to go work in wherever. I think you're looking at that
potentially. I mean, it's a possibility. It's a possibility, and you can't. Again, most people, money's a significant part of the equation.
It is. It just is. I mean, like you can work somewhere and you can love where you work, but if you're not getting compensated for it, like sometimes you.
All right, on the other side, if you missed our conversation with San Diego State defensive end Trey White, we had him on yesterday. He is an amazing story. He leads the nation currently in sacks. San Diego State has Washington State for home. He's very good to lead the nation in sacks. And the Aztecs play Washington State for homecoming. We have homecoming tickets, Brent, to give away today, don't we? All right, so we have 2 pairs of homecoming tickets to give away. Why don't we do this? Don't go anywhere. You're going to hear a conversation with Trey White coming up, and then after our conversation, within the next 15 minutes, we'll let you know how to win those San Diego State, Washington State tickets for Saturday night at Snapdragon Stadium. So we're giving away tickets in about 15 minutes. Trey White, the nation's leader in sacks, joins us next on Jon and Jim. Hi, John and Jim back with you at the Country Hotel downtown here in San Diego. A Mason Foundation event coming up tonight. For you at 5:15, Rams Vikings tonight, right here on San Diego Sports 760. We also have Aztec football for you coming up Saturday at 7:30. We had the pleasure of catching up with San Diego State defensive end Trey White yesterday. He leads the nation in sacks. If you missed our conversation, we started by asking Trey about how he's getting additional attention now with those 11 sacks. How's it impacting the way teams are now game planning against him?
I think teams are starting to chip me a little bit more, but with my motor and just like the way our defense is, I'm going to get plenty of opportunities to rush the quarterback and defend the run. So as long as I keep on doing me, it'll open up other lanes for some of my other teammates.
Trey, what's the transition? What's it been like for you moving to defensive end this year and then flourishing this year so far, leading the nation in sacks?
Yeah, it's really not much of a transition. I played defensive end in high school for 2 years, 3 years actually, since my sophomore year. And it was just mostly refining the pass rushing skills by coming here. And I think the biggest help that I've had is my coach, Rob Wirtz. He's helped me refine my pass rushing skills, so I owe a lot to him.
What's different about the defense in general? I mean, you spent a couple of years and at one point Scout Team Player of the Year. You were on the field last year as well as a redshirt freshman. But when you go from 3-3-5, which had so much success here, to 4-2-5, and you see you guys are among the top teams in the nation in sacks. The defense has played incredibly well. What's the transition like just from a defensive perspective, 3-3-5 to 4-2-5?
It really isn't much of a difference. Both defenses like to add a lot of pressure. But I'd say the main difference is we're always playing with 4 down linemen in a 4-2-5, and a 3-3-5. You're playing a lot with 3 down linemen, and then you could have like 2 outside linebackers, 2 inside linebackers. That's probably the main difference, I would say.
You said you had a lot of experiences, DN, in high school. So when they told you, all right, look, we're going to put you back at this position, was that like exciting for you? Did you feel like, all right, cool, this is like a spot that I can be unlocked at? Like, how was your feeling about that when they told you you're going to be moving back to DN?
No, yeah, I was super excited. I'm used to this position, and I pretty much knew a lot about it, but I knew there was a lot more to learn. So I knew that this is a place where I could excel because that's where I was playing in high school. So it was pretty much like coming home for me.
And what's like, I guess, maybe the one thing that you have learned by going back to DN that you didn't know previously, before you moved back there?
It's just like how deep my bag can get with all my pass rushing moves. I really only was using my speed, but now I can use more of my hands and, a bunch of different techniques that Coach Orch is teaching me.
San Diego State edge rusher Trey White with us right now on Jon and Jim out of East Lake in Chula, leading the nation right now in sacks. You know the assignment this week. You've played some really good offenses, some outstanding quarterbacks. You get John Mateer this weekend. He's among the better dual threat quarterbacks in the country at Washington State. What is part of the game plan, or what is your strategy to hopefully combat what you've seen that he's been able to do on film this year?
Yeah, he's a really great quarterback from what I've seen on film. And I feel like our biggest thing, we just have to keep him contained, and we know he can hurt us. So if we can stop him and stop him from scrambling a lot and just bring him down, I feel like that's the biggest thing, not missing any tackles on him and bringing him down when we have the opportunity, I feel like we'll be great.
Coming off that heartbreaking loss to Central Michigan, you guys bounced back and you guys won 2 in a row here. What does that say about your team, having that heartbreaker and then bouncing back here and winning 2 straight games?
Yeah, it just shows that we're not going to give up. We're always going to fight. And even though we're all relatively new to each other, I feel like we've created a close bond with the help of our coaches, and just like the locker room chemistry, I feel like it's been really great, and we always have each other's backs.
What's it like watching your offense progress? I feel like probably on both sides of the football and special teams too. I mean, the point of football is to improve over the course of a year. I think we've really seen improvement on the offensive side of the ball. What are you seeing from whether it's Danny O'Neal, the offensive line, the receivers? How have they improved as the weeks have gone by?
Yeah, I think it's not just a testament to one person. It's throughout the whole entire offense. Danny O'Neal has been stepping up really greatly, and even though like all the shuffles through the O-line, I feel like we stayed pretty constant throughout. And everyone has that next man up mentality, so everybody's ready to go when it's their time.
Trey, how much thought have you put into your future, if any, right now?
Right now, none. I'm really focused on this season and getting a conference championship. We're 2-0 in conference, so I'm just excited for the next 6-7 weeks that we have with this team, and I'm excited to see how far we can go.
I think I saw a video, maybe it was at GoAztecs.com with some media availability where you said heading into the year, I wrote down some goals, like individual goals, like from a team perspective, we want to win. But I'm like, hey, if I could get the double-digit sacks, like that's a huge year.
And you're already there.
So now, and then you said, hey, what about? I mean, so what is the? Is there an individual goal, or is it all about the team right now? But now that you have 11 sacks, what are you thinking about, knowing that you're already into double digits?
Yeah, before the season starts or every season, I try to write down goals for myself because I really believe in that and manifesting it and, just putting it down on paper just so you have somewhere to strive to. So, at the beginning of the year, my goal was 10 sacks, and I'm already past that. So, I just got to double it and try to get that 21.
Has it kind of been surreal? I mean, your third year in the program, you're out of Eastlake, you're born in Chula, you're playing at San Diego State, you're in this new stadium. We don't know, your future's your future, like anyone. But what's this opportunity been like for you? Playing in front of friends and family, quote unquote, staying home. What have these 3 years been like for you personally?
Yeah, it's just been a blessing to be here. My family and friends get to come out and watch me, and I get to play for San Diego State, who I grew up watching. So, just me doing my thing and, making my family proud is just a blessing right now. So I'm really happy I can do that.
You mentioned the new goal here, Trey, 21. I'm sure you know, and if you don't know, the all-time record for sacks in a season by an Aztec is 21. So maybe 22 after hearing that, might be the new goal here. Try to break that record set by Mike Douglas in 1976.
Yeah, I guess 21 and a half, I guess.
Yeah. We got to get above 21 here. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Trey, before you go, you look at what's to come here. You've had a couple of bye weeks, and now it's 6 games in 6 weeks. Like you said, 2-0 in the league. Do you feel as if the team is kind of playing the best that they've played to this point, and they've put themselves in a position where they can, you and your teammates can play some of your best football still ahead?
Yeah, most definitely. I feel like we're coming off a clean slate. We're 3-3, but I think of it as 0-0. So as long as we just do our jobs and just keep on fighting every single game, because winning isn't easy, and I think we'll be just fine.
Chula Vista's Trey White out of Eastlake High School, again leading the nation in sacks, getting ready for homecoming on Saturday at Snapdragon Stadium against Washington State. Trey, we appreciate you taking time for us. Best of luck this weekend, and we'll do it again. All right?
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you. I appreciate it. And go Aztecs.
All right, our conversation with Trey White from yesterday on Jon and Jim. Now, Jim is very excited because he didn't eat before the show for some reason, which makes no sense since Jim doesn't do anything before the show. And the show started at 2 p.m. It's not like the show was at 6 a.m. But you didn't eat.
No, I didn't eat like a full meal. I had a protein bar early this morning, and that was it. Yeah.
Did you work out?
Does eating a protein bar mean you have to work out?
70470 started with team, yes.
No, it doesn't mean you have to work out.
You just eat protein bars and don't work out?
I mean, sometimes I do, but I just ate a protein bar just to get something in my system.
70470 started with team. Is that weird?
No,
all right. Anyway, he has a club
sandwich.
You've ordered a club sandwich that was picked up for you.
Oh my gosh.
That looks unbelievable.
Massive.
All right. Jim's going to have a club sandwich. We're going to get back to Jackson Merrill. Will the Padres extend him this offseason or not? We're at the Padres downtown for a Mesa Foundation event supporting San Diego State men's basketball. It's Jon and Jim.
All right, this update is brought to you by Taco Bell. Jackson Merrill today was named the Sporting News Rookie of the Year. The official Rookie of the Year award won't be announced until November after the World Series between the Dodgers and the Yankees. And tonight, Thursday Night Football between the Vikings and the Rams. Kickoff at 5:15. You can listen to that game right here on San Diego Sports 760. The Slow Roasted Cantina Chicken menu is here to stay with ingredients like purple cabbage and freshly prepared pico de gallo. Try it today at a participating U.S. Taco Bell location while supplies last. Contact store for participation, which varies.
Getting you all set for that drive home. Let's just start the show. Here's Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is actually hour 2 of Jon and Jim. We started early. We're going until 5:15. Surprise, we are here. And if you're just getting here, thanks for being with us. We're at the Pendry downtown. There is a Mesa Foundation event. That's the official NIL collective of San Diego State men's and women's basketball. So that event's going to get underway in a couple of hours. We'll have Dave Velasquez, longtime San Diego State assistant, join us in the 4 o'clock hour. We'll have Wayne McKinney, a new Aztec who joins from USD, join us around 5 p.m. Then we do have Thursday Night Football at 5:15, Vikings, Rams. Chris Hodge has free picks for our listeners coming up at 4:30. I promised you Aztec football tickets for homecoming that we'd give them away. We'll do it this segment. Before we break at some point in the next 10 minutes, we will give away tickets for Saturday night at Snapdragon Stadium. So we started the show by talking about Jackson Merrill. He was named, you just said it again in your update, he was named Sporting News Rookie of the Year. Now, we don't know if he's going to get it or not. That's a whole nother conversation. The official Rookie of the Year award, which I think, by the way, you said I think it's coming very soon. I think it might be awarded during the World Series or right after. It's coming soon.
Okay.
Does anyone know when the Rookie of the Year award is given out? Tag us at Jon and Jim, or text us 70470 started with team. Do you know?
I think that it happens at like an event. Or no, they're announced after the World Series. There's no way they're announcing these things during the World Series.
Okay. Well, either way.
Of course, I'm probably going to be wrong on that one,
wrong.
but, you know.
Here's my point, though, that it's not a formality. Remember that conversation? We thought he overtook Paul. He's winning this award.
Mm-hmm.
And then we saw some of the Vegas numbers. We had people on, including one of the voters, Dan Zaborski.
Yeah.
I figure I'm just like, it's kind of close. I could go either way. I think he liked Jackson Merrill. I think he was maybe leaning towards voting for Jackson Merrill, but is he? I guess that's a whole nother conversation. Do you think he's going to win the official award? Do you have a good feeling on it, one way or the other?
I have no feeling on it, but this makes me feel better now
because he just won this one.
Yeah. So here are the awards that were announced today for the Sporting News baseball season.
Okay.
All right. MLB Player of the Year, Shohei Otani.
Okay.
I mean, to me, he didn't have the best offensive season, but I get it. They have to, let's give it to Shohei. Like Aaron Judge had a better offensive year than you.
Okay.
AL Rookie of the Year, Mason Miller. Jackson Merrill, NL Rookie of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
AL Comeback Player of the Year, Vlad Guerrero Jr., who had a really good season, by the way.
Right.
Didn't see that. NL Comeback Player of the Year, Chris Sale.
What about Jerkson Profar?
AL Manager of the Year, Stephen Vogt, the Guardians. NL Manager of the Year was Pat Murphy.
Yeah, makes sense.
And Executive of the Year was Matt Arnold of the Brewers. That's a travesty. AJ Preller should have been Executive of the Year.
Just for like a time range, last year's announcement for NL Rookie of the Year was on November 14th.
Yeah, so after the World Series.
After the World Series, we're going to find out. The reason I ask is, like, if Merrill isn't Rookie of the Year, will people be up in arms?
Yes.
Okay, so they probably will.
For sure they will be.
And has Merrill just, from an unbiased eye, because we haven't done this exercise since the season ended, has he definitively won this award from an unbiased eye?
No, there will be first place votes for Paul Skeens.
Yeah, I mean, Paul Skeens did finish his year with a 1.96, so he had a sub-2 ERA.
And he finished out the year, he didn't rest in September.
Yeah, 133 innings. Okay, and then Jackson Merrill had his 4.1 WAR, which is really impressive. His 826 OPS is terrific. He didn't have the national buzz. Will the buzz matter for voters in Pittsburgh and D.C. and Baltimore, all those eastern voters, people east of the Mississippi, east of the Rockies? Have they been paying attention to Jackson Merrill like they were paying attention to Paul Skeens?
Well, it helped that the Padres were
good team.
A contending team. They won 93 games, and these awards are voted on before the postseason starts.
Right. Which is fine.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, Jackson Merrill had, for a rookie 21-year-old, had a decent postseason, but he had moments where you're like, whoa, you're a rookie?
Oh, absolutely.
Overall, his numbers were fine, but
You're saying in the postseason.
In the postseason,
The postseason.
And actually, truthfully, he 21-year-old kid, like for his first time in the postseason, he held his own. He had really good moments and moments in that Dodger series and the Brave series where you're like, oh my God. I think that Jackson deserves it over Paul Skeens because I think when you have these two seasons backed up together,
right,
they're both. There's nothing that to me that's like, whoa. Like if you want to say the Paul Skeens under 2 ERA, okay, yeah, that's really freaking good. I get it.
Yeah.
But Jackson Merrill, also for a 21-year-old, hit 24 home runs, 92 RBIs, hit 292, and led the league in most home runs after the 8th inning to tie or
go ahead.
Go ahead.
My tiebreaker, tell me if you think this is fair. If
Okay.
both players had really impressive seasons, they're both the best two in the National League.
Yeah.
Right? Those are the two primary candidates. And there's other
It will be
players.
those two and Jackson Churio.
There's other good players, no question. But, okay, if you've got two players that are comparable, do you give the edge to the player that was in the big leagues for the entire year? Because Skeens didn't debut until May.
Yeah, I know.
So, and that's not his fault.
No.
That's not his fault, but their organization did determine that they weren't going to use him until – I mean, he made 23 starts. A full season for a Major League starter is 31 starts.
Mm-hmm.
So he made about 70 or 75% of starts. Jackson Merrill played every day.
Yep.
Every day. That, to me, is the tiebreaker.
I agree with that.
That he was up all year.
Yeah, I agree that he should hold a tiebreaker for the award because of that, because he was on a winning team, because of just his play. I mean, he was the guy basically sometimes driving the bus. He wasn't on the bus part of the ride. Like there were parts of the season where he was the bus driver.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Skeens was on a team that didn't even get close to the postseason. Jackson Merrill was on a team that, as I just said, helped drive them and get them to 93 wins and the postseason. I think that there's some deciding factors for me that you have to lean Jackson Merrill, like he played all year. Yeah, he was on the team that went to the postseason, but he also had a really good season. Like that's if you put the numbers up there, the numbers are rookie of the year numbers, in my opinion. And he played every day.
Yeah.
And he was on the team the entire year, 21 years old. I'm not going to say I'm going to be like up in arms, like, oh my God, I can't believe he won. I'll understand it and I'll get it, but I'll still be disappointed.
Yeah, no, I think you made really good, compelling points. I do think it matters for the organization. A couple of reasons why I think it matters. I think they really covet an additional first-round pick, which is what they would get out of it. They'd end up with like the 31st pick or 32nd
Yeah, that
pick.
too, yeah.
Like that to me is coveted. You landed Jackson Merrill with a 20-something pick.
Uh-huh.
So to get a 30-something pick because Merrill succeeded, that to me is a huge win. I also think it gives them confidence from a player development perspective. AJ Preller talked about this at the end of the year. Now, he didn't say because Merrill was good, that means Salas is going to be good. Like, he didn't say because Merrill was good, I need to bring Leo DeVries up. But I do think it's a vote of confidence that what they're doing in their system works, that they got Merrill through their system, and he succeeded at the big league level. Like, that was a big question mark. We talked for years about their inability, bless you, to get players through their system to hit at the big league level. They traded guys away, and that benefited them at the big league level. But to develop a player in your system, not trade him away, and for him to hit at the big league level, to me, has to be a confidence builder for the organization and AJ Preller. If you can do it with Merrill, hopefully they can do it again with some of the players in their system that are on their way up.
I agree with you, but I also don't think that they should like use Jackson Merrill. Like, oh, Jackson Merrill, he did this at 21 years old. Let's bring up DeVries. Let's bring up Salas.
But whatever they're doing in their system, now there's actually an example of someone that's been developed properly.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is that more of a credit to Merrill than the system? Maybe. But the fact that they can do it. I mean, it had been 10 years. Who was the position player they had developed?
Nobody.
I mean, Tatis, who had never played professionally.
Okay. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a nice thing that Jackson Merrill won this award. And I think it bodes well for him to win Rookie of the Year when they announce it, the Baseball Writers of America in early November-ish, I want to say. And I would be actually kind of very surprised now if he doesn't win Rookie of the Year for baseball this season after winning Sporting News Rookie of the Year. Usually those things kind of feel like they tie together. I'm sure that there's a lot of instances where someone wins an award from the Sporting News and then Baseball Writers of America, it's completely different.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think this doesn't hurt his case. Now the voting's over with, but I don't think this is a bad sign. I think it's a good sign.
I think it's a good sign. I mean, the only thing that worries me isn't Paul Skeen's season. It's Paul Skeen's marketing arm. And that wasn't him either. I'm not blaming Skeens for being marketed, but marketing matters. It's like
it does.
A Heisman Trophy is won by people that are on television a lot, that have campaigns that are highly visible, like that. That can be beneficial. Now, Rookie of the Year is maybe a little different.
But Jackson Merrill came on strong, and he was also towards the end of August and September, middle of August when he went on a tear when I was in Switzerland and Italy.
Was that the talk of Switzerland?
Everyone was like, Jackson Merrill.
Anywhere you went in Geneva, everyone down the street.
There were Jackson Merrill jerseys everywhere. I looked. It was crazy.
Right.
That is when you started hearing the buzz about Jackson Merrill nationally grow over Paul Skeens.
I agree with that.
Paul Skeens, he was the starter in the All-Star game, and he was the talk of the rookies at the All-Star game. Oh, by the way, Jackson Merrill was also an All-Star as well, so you can't hold that against him.
And he was on the better team, and he was up all year.
Yes.
And he held his own, even against Paul Skeens' numbers. No, you're right.
He should win Rookie of the Year. He's not going to win it unanimously.
No.
There will be I do
honestly,
think,
it shouldn't be unanimous. I can see the question. You know what I mean? I can see the question back and forth.
Do you think it's going to be close?
I do. I think it'll be really close.
I think it'll be really close.
I think it's going to be really
I think it's going to be very close.
First place votes are going to be like 17-13.
Probably.
And that'll be the determining factor.
Yeah. But I know if he doesn't win, Padres fans, everybody will be upset. And not about the award. You want him to continue to stay the same and get better. Like, you don't want him to regress. You want him to get better. You want him to grow into a superstar player. You want him to be the cornerstone of this franchise. I would take right now, you told me right now, he wins Rookie of the Year, guaranteed. We're guaranteed he's the next 7 years a 6-time All-Star.
Yeah. That's not
even close. I would sacrifice that Rookie of the Year every day for the guarantee of the next 7 years. He's a stud.
I'll take the guarantee of the next 2 years. I mean, if he's going to be a stud for the next couple of years, I'm not worried about Rookie of the Year.
Give me five. Give me five.
All right.
Five straight good years of him being a freaking stud.
I'll take 4 of the next 5 years.
I'll take 3.5.
Now you're me. All right, call right now. I promise this. A pair of tickets for San Diego State, Washington State, Saturday at Snapdragon Stadium, homecoming at Snapdragon Stadium. Caller 7, you are going. 2 free tickets. We will give away actually another pair of tickets later in the show, but call right now if you want them. 877-767-4760. 2 free tickets for homecoming Saturday at Snapdragon Stadium. Tickets are available at goaztecs.com. Caller 7, you're going. 877-767-4760. Did Stephen A. Smith go too far in a vicious teardown of an NBA superstar with ties to San Diego? That's next on Jon and Jim. All right, hey guys, it is Jon and Jim, and we've been telling you about our friends over at Hamul Casino throughout this football season. It's a great time to get out there this weekend. NFL action this weekend, of course, the World Series as well. And every single Monday in October with Monday Night Football, you've got a chance to win big with promotions out at Hamul Casino.
Yeah, with 10 winners every hour at 7 p.m., 8 p.m., and 9 p.m., your odds are better than ever. Plus, their Onyx players are going to receive an extra $100 in cash bonuses on top of their winnings, plus earn entries all month long by playing and getting 2-time entries on Tuesdays with at least $500 in cash for all winners. and a chance to win up to $25,000 in cash.
You'll love the restaurants and the bars, specifically Tony Gwynn Sports Pub, because they've got Tony Gwynn memorabilia for sports fans. They have great food and drinks. Trust us, we've been there. They've got 1 million televisions as well for the NFL and World Series action. And then they've got endless dining going on at Hamul in general, 5 nights a week. You'll love it. Their endless dining options include a Saturday surf and turf buffet. They've gone over the top with perfect combinations of succulent steaks, delectable seafood, and more.
Yeah, their deck bar and Tony Gwynn Sports Pub. It's the place to be if you want to watch NFL action, NBA action, or the World Series. Tony Gwynn Sports Pub. Get to Hamul Casino. It's fun above all else.
At the official soundtrack of Halloween is back with the Halloween radio on the iHeartRadio app for commercial-free hits. Great throwback. At 4:30, Dave Velasquez, longtime Aztec assistant at 4:45. Wayne McKinney, USD transfer, will join us at 5 p.m. We're at the Pendry Hotel. We're dressed up. If you're watching us on YouTube, Jim is in a sports coat for the first time this year.
No, not the first time,
wedding.
John, because I've been to a wedding and I've been to my wedding.
Right.
And then what else did I go to?
Well, you went to the wedding in Switzerland.
The wedding in Switzerland. So
Or
this
Italy.
is the no, hold on, let me check here. So 1, 2. This is the 5th time this year I've dressed up like this.
All right.
Which is a lot.
So it's becoming like the norm. Maybe every day on Jon and Jim we should get dressed up.
Just wear suits.
Yeah. Because
That'd be
it's
a
like
lot.
dress for the job you want, and neither of us want this job.
No, we love this job.
I'm kidding.
We love this job, John. Don't tell our listeners that we don't like this job. We love it.
That's a joke.
I know it is.
Clearly a
It
joke.
clearly
Yeah,
is a
it was
joke. I
it
love
was-
being
it
on the
was
radio.
cute. I
talking
do
sports.
too. I know, but
Maybe like maybe if it's maybe not the job we want if we want to make money.
no, that's not true either. I mean,
That's true. That's more true than that.
it's not like pro bono work.
No. It's definitely not that. What
Although
are we
I don't want to
talking
suggest that. I don't know what we're talking about. Here's what we're
You
talking
said it
about.
first.
Here's what we're talking about.
Horrible joke.
Kawhi Leonard. You know the name?
I heard of him.
So he stars on the Mesa going back a decade, and then he just becomes, truthfully, a superstar because of his play, right? Bursts on the scene with San Antonio. He's the NBA Finals MVP as a young player, right?
Mhm.
An amazing defender. All of a sudden, you fast forward, he's winning another title with Toronto. And then, there's two sides to Kawhi, right? He's an absolutely brilliant player when healthy and on the floor. And then he's had all the health issues here recently. Some have argued that there really wasn't load management before Kawhi Leonard, that he kind of changed the game in that regard.
He did. He
Over the last decade.
I think when you think of load management, the first player you think of is Kawhi,
It's
right?
Kawhi.
Yeah.
Now, this is a very strong take, in my opinion. It's not because of how he says it. Stephen A. has said things a lot more loudly, so to speak, than what he's about to say.
Yeah.
But listen to Stephen A. Smith. Does this go too far, in his opinion, here on the superstar of Kawhi Leonard?
So I'm going to say it for the last time. He is a superstar when he is healthy. On the basketball court, easily, as far as I'm concerned, top 5 player on the planet. That's why superstar is appropriate when it comes to talking about his skill set. I can make a legitimate argument that Kawhi Leonard is the worst superstar in the history of any sport. You can't have somebody like that and it's beneficial, who's going to miss work half the time and does absolutely nothing to promote your product or your brand. He is a poster child for what not to be as a star in any sport, period. And I mean it. And had I seen him in the arena last night, him and his uncle and everybody else in between, I'd have told him to their face. The worst. The worst.
Okay. Your thoughts?
I mean, I think it's too far, and off air, you made some really good points about, listen, there's a lot of people that aren't good role models that are superstars.
Yeah.
And you can't say that about Kawhi. You might not like that he is like
A hermit.
anti-marketing in a marketing age.
Yeah, he is a very quiet. It feels like he's a very
He's like
quiet to
quiet
himself,
Kawhi. But that's not,
kind of just never out in the public eye.
that to me is not, that can't be part of the story. That's not a reason not to say that he's not a great player or he's not doesn't have superstar characteristics.
Isn't
you want to be
that
critical of some of the load management decisions? Okay, but you also can't be critical of him being hurt. There's other. I mean, Joel Embiid, they just showed it up yesterday.
Is he the
He's
worst superstar because Joel Embiid's hurt?
Joel Embiid's played 46% of available games in his career. How many rings does Joel Embiid have? He doesn't have near as many as Kawhi Leonard. So worst superstar in all sports to me. I understand he's trying to make a point, but that's a point that I think he went too far.
I think he did too. I think he went too far with his explanation. I kind of get it, but I also am like, dude, it feels like you almost have this vendetta against him for some reason because he's not promoting the game how you want him to promote it. He's not out in the public eye. He is not on social media all the time. He doesn't post on Instagram. He doesn't have hundreds of millions of followers. What is that? Is that what you're truly mad at him for that? You think he's the worst superstar for that?
Isn't that the same? Sorry, isn't that the same critique that everyone gives dude for the Angels? I'm blanking.
Trout?
Yeah.
Mike Trout.
But he doesn't do commercials. He's not
Right.
out there promoting, he's one of the best, biggest superstars in baseball, but you don't see him in commercials. You don't see him do this. And there's people that say he needs to do more and be a better ambassador, but he's kind of the Kawhi of baseball because he doesn't do commercials or anything either.
Yeah, but are people calling Mike Trout the worst superstar in all of sport?
No, he's a Hall of Famer, just like Kawhi's a Hall of Famer. Whenever his time's up. I mean, how many games did he play last year? Didn't he play 60 plus games last year?
He played a ton of games. That's the thing. We brought it up that one day. It was close to 70 games in the regular season.
I honestly was surprised last night seeing him on the bench.
Right. 68. He played 68 games last year for the Clippers.
Enough to qualify for awards.
Yeah. He scored 24 points per game, shooting 53% from the floor, playing 68 games. I think he wants to be out there. The knee thing's it's a problem. Yeah. It's not a win for anyone.
No, it's
just not.
But at least he didn't play in the Olympics and then all of a sudden miss time to start the season with his team. Oh, you mean like Joel Embiid, who went out there, played every single game of the Olympics, started every single game, and then he's now resting at the start of the Sixers season? Where's the vitriol for Joel Embiid?
Well, they're kind of, you're right. I mean,
there is, but
listen to this. Just listen real quick, because again, is Kawhi a poster child for load management? I think that's fair. I think a lot of people would turn there.
Yeah.
But listen to the games he's played. Like I'm looking at his career, Jim.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he's never going to play 80 games, no question. But it's not like there's a lot of years he's playing no games. Listen to this. From the time he debuted, 64 games, 58, 66, 64, 72, 74. Then he missed a full season with the Spurs. He played 9 games. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're thinking, well, that's where it starts. With the Raptors, he wins a title. He played 60 games.
Yep.
Then it's 57, 52, 52, 68. I get it.
It's
not ideal,
awful.
but it's not like he's playing 28 of 82.
Right.
He's always playing 50 plus. I know there was an era when guys played 80.
Yeah.
Now we're in an era where guys play 60s. But you know what I mean? Like we've been critical of Fernando Tatis Jr. before.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, truthfully, I bet Kawhi has played a comparable percentage, if not more, of his career games than Fernando Tatis Jr.
So the reason why Stephen A. Smith thinks he's the worst superstar is because of his personality. Then
I guess so. It's got a unique personality.
So you're hating on somebody because of the way that they are. Like that to me is that's too far. If you want to say he's the worst superstar because he doesn't perform,
but he does perform.
He does.
Yeah.
Like if you're considering him a super, like, okay, say Kawhi is quote unquote considered a superstar, but he plays 20 games a year and he averages 15 points. Right. And he had 6 amazing seasons to start his career, won the 2 finals MVPs.
And then fell off a cliff.
But for the last 7 years, he's fallen off a cliff, but people still consider him a superstar. Then your argument would make more sense to me, because you're saying don't call him a superstar anymore.
Has been.
That's the worst. Yep. He's the worst quote unquote superstar there is right now. You can't say that just because you don't like his personality, because you don't like how he goes about his business. When one, he's never been in any trouble off the court. He has been in well, I can't say drama now because of what happened today, but with the whole trainer with the Clippers.
I don't even
anyway,
know the story.
I haven't fully read the whole story yet either. But there is something out there, like a lawsuit with a trainer of Kawhi and the Clippers and wrongful termination. But anyway, my point still stands. You don't like him because, and you're saying he's the worst superstar because you don't like his personality. Okay.
All right.
What?
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting conversation that we can continue on the other side. Who do you think is the quote-unquote worst superstar in sports? Who is that right now? Who is the quote-unquote worst superstar
That's such
in
a
sports?
But I mean, worst in what way? Worst because they don't promote themselves?
Answer it the way you'd like to. Who's the worst superstar in sports? Chris Hodge will join us at 4:30 with free picks for our listeners. We're at the Pendry downtown here in San Diego for a Mesa Foundation event. Stay with us on Jon and Jim.
All right, this update is brought to you by Taco Bell. Jackson Merrill today was announced as the Sporting News Rookie of the Year. And tonight, NFL, Thursday Night Football, Rams and Vikings in L.A. Kickoff's at 5:15. You can listen to that game right here on San Diego Sports 760. The slow roasted Cantina chicken menu is here to stay with ingredients like purple cabbage and freshly prepared pico de gallo. Try it today at a participating U.S. Taco Bell location while supplies last. Contact store for participation, which varies.
All right, so we're asking the worst superstar. Go anywhere you want. Click on San Diego Sports 760. Then there's a microphone icon. You can click on it. You can leave a 30-second talk back. We can play them on air. Who do you think is currently the worst superstar in sports? Because Stephen A. Smith at ESPN said it is definitively across all sports Kawhi Leonard. We just played the sound here on San Diego Sports 760.
And I haven't put like too much thought in it, but I would say, like I was talking to you about on the break, like if there's a superstar player that hasn't been involved in like domestic violence or off the field or off the court issues or whatever, like to me, those players, I think you consider them superstars, like their actions off the court. If your whole entire basis, Stephen A. Kawhi's the worst superstar in sports because he doesn't like post enough to social media or like do enough commercials. Like, stop.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that's kind of evergreen. Like, there's no right answer.
Like, to me, right now, quarterbacks in the NFL are just already considered superstars because they're quarterbacks. To me, the worst, quote, superstar in professional sports is
Rodgers. Oh, yeah, he's not good.
If you tell me right now,
that's a good one.
Who's the worst superstar in sports? I would pick Deshaun Watson. Not even close.
No, that's a really good one. That's a really good one.
So take it how you will for the question to use the talkback mic feature for, but that's how I would, I guess,
well,
describe the quote worst superstar in sports.
Yeah, it's like, what is your definition? To your point, is it the worst person that happens to be a superstar? Well, obviously, not even close. But is it the player that is masquerading around as a superstar? I don't think that's Kawhi Leonard when healthy, because Stephen A. even said that in his teardown of him. His primary point was he's just not doing anything for the organization other than when he plays. But then again, his job is to do something for the team when he does play. Like, forget about the marketing of the player and worry about winning. Now, again, has Kawhi won at the highest level with the Clippers? No, he hasn't. And has he been fully healthy in postseasons? No. I mean, listen, when Kawhi signed with the Clippers, the expectation was to probably get to an NBA Finals, and they haven't. They've fallen short of that. And just like when Manny Machado signed with the San Diego Padres, I think the expectation was to get to a World Series. You don't spend 10-plus years here as a superstar and not get to a World. So that's a fair critique. But going beyond that, there's a lot of superstars that haven't played on the highest stage. Deshaun Watson's a good example. Plus, he's got the baggage off the field.
There is something between Kawhi and Stephen A. Smith, for whatever reason, that is causing this take from Stephen A.
Yeah, probably.
Like, we played it obviously in the last segment, and his explanation to me wasn't good enough. It wasn't good enough. Your only explanation for why he's the quote unquote worst superstar in sports is because he isn't in the public eye more. He doesn't do enough commercials for you. He's not on Instagram as much. He doesn't tweet. I think his last tweet might have been like 10 years ago. You know, like
that's right. He only has 2 or 3 ever.
That's why he's the worst superstar for you. Okay.
Yeah, he's still on the platform. His last tweet was actually with someone we spent time with earlier today, and is here, Matt Soria
and Dutch
and Brian Dutcher and Kawhi Leonard from inside. This is before the jam.
This was like this pre-jam center.
Or no, it's in the jam when it opened. Yeah, it just looks different. It's 2015 in the jam center.
2015,
and he didn't tweet it. He retweeted it. It's July 7th, 2015. His only other tweets are custom swag board, hashtag KL2 edition, gear coming soon. And you don't have to be a golfer to have fun at Top Golf ATL. No, I don't know. SAT, San Antonio. That was it. So he's only tweeted 3 times.
Okay.
Isn't that's incredible? But
Man.
again, that's not a reason.
He's
with
the
you.
worst superstar
he-
ever
he
because
didn't
of that.
tweet. Yeah, I mean, right. You're the worst person ever. You haven't tweeted.
He's won 2 NBA finals. He's won
Multiple MVPs.
2 NBA finals MVPs. He's a how many ever time All-Star. He I mean, it's going to be a Hall of Famer. Give me a break. Give me a break. By the way, we have to give a shout out here at the hotel.
Please, let's do it.
Because, we're kind of in a secluded area. So there's not people walking by. We wouldn't like when
we're here before the event.
Yeah, when we were outside at the Naughty Barrel, we had, I mean, shoot, I felt like 100 plus people come up to us and say, Jon and Jim, whatever. And that was awesome. And we appreciate you for doing that. But during one of our breaks in the side door here, one of the chefs of the hotel, Dara, comes up to us and asks us, Jon and Jim?
We are.
And we're like, yes, we are.
Yes.
And she goes, oh my God, my husband's listening to you and said that you guys were in the hotel right now.
So
I had
she
to
was
come
trying
and
to
find
find us.
Yeah. So shout out to Dara, the chef here at the hotel, and to her husband, Brian, who is listening to us probably right now or on his way home. But I thought it was pretty cool.
It was super cool.
You don't get many people in a hotel environment like this where we're at coming up to us and being like, oh my God, is it Jon and Jim?
You know what happens a lot to me is when we're out and about, if someone does recognize us, what is happening to me a lot is, oh, Jim. And I'm like, no, I am not. Like, this is a common like point of contention. Like, even in our chats on YouTube, sometimes they wrap up. Yeah. They're like, Jon, I can't believe you said that about Manny. I'm like, I didn't say that. I'm like, Jim said. Anything bad Jim said.
Yeah.
Anything good I said. That's how you know who's saying it.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate everybody that listens. We appreciate everybody that watches on YouTube and listens to the podcast on iHeartRadio. We all appreciate everybody out there that listens to our show.
No doubt about it. All right. We are at this Mesa Foundation event that's going to kick off around 5 p.m. We have Chris Hodge joining us at 4:30. He's got free picks for our listeners. Thursday Night Football, you can hear right here on San Diego Sports 760. We'll preview that game on the other side. Rams and Vikings, you can hear it at 5:15. Chris Hodge will join us at 4:30. Dave Velasquez, longtime San Diego State men's basketball assistant, scheduled to stop by at 4:45. And then again, Wayne McKinney, Aztec guard, will join us coming up at 5 p.m. We have another pair of tickets to give away that we'll do between now and 5:15 for homecoming at Snapdragon Stadium. We also have tickets to SeaWorld's Howl Scream, right, Jim? Brent, whoever. Brent, we have tickets for Howl Scream, right?
I can actually check. You know that.
I don't know.
I can check now.
Oh, look at you.
Hold on. Let me check. Ready?
He's just said yes, so who cares?
Okay, I know, but I'm just checking for my own personal purposes.
Okay, so we have Howl Scream tickets. So here's what we're going to do. On the other side, we'll give away a 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld's Howl Scream. We'll get you ready for this weekend in the NFL, including Thursday Night Football. And again, we're downtown at the Pendry until 5:15 and Thursday Night Football for this men's basketball Mesa Foundation event tonight. Top of the key, and you're listening to Jon and Jim. Back with you, Jon and Jim, Henry, downtown San Diego. Top of the key, Mesa Foundation event coming up tonight. We're going to stick around. We are very grateful for the opportunity to stick around for supporting men's basketball and the Mesa Foundation, as we talked about earlier. We do have Thursday Night Football here tonight on San Diego Sports 760. We will give away Howl of Scream tickets coming up with the next within the next 10 minutes or so. Is this at all intriguing for you tonight? You like how I posed that, as we'll carry Thursday Night Football. I mean, the Rams, any shot at anything involves finding a way to win at home against the Vikings, presumably tonight. Is that a fair statement? Any shot at anything, any relevancy from this point forward this year involves beating the Vikings at home as a home underdog? They're done either way.
Yeah.
No hope.
No. I mean, Puka is coming back. Cooper Kupp, they have Matthew Stafford, but their defense is still very suspect. Yeah, for me, it's this tonight is going to be one of those, I think, blowout games and not really that entertaining, to be honest with you.
I mean, Minnesota's only favored by 3 on the road Thursday Night Football.
That's interesting.
Yeah, they're favored
because
by 3.
I consider them one of the best teams in the NFC.
Oh, they definitely have played like that. Yeah,
even though they coming off
a loss
to the Lions,
first loss of the year.
I think the Lions, to me, are the best team in the NFC. I think the Vikings are easily top 4
in the NFC or
NFC.
Sure,
top 3, top 4, and the Rams are 2-5. It's Thursday Night Football. It's always weird.
Yeah, it's weird.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah,
I'm looking
that's my big breakdown. You like that?
That was a pretty good breakdown. I'm just looking at.
I don't know.
I'm looking at games this weekend, honestly, and I don't do this just to do it, but honestly, Niners Cowboys is one of the better games. I like. There's a lot of like 5 and
only
2
good by
2
name
5.
association only.
Okay, Bears Commanders is a good game
if Jaden Daniels plays.
Okay, that's in DC.
Right.
You're saying Cowboys Niners is only good by name. Yeah, but the winner of that game
is what?
Is either 4-3 if it's Dallas or 4-4 if it's San Francisco.
And the winner of that game will be hyped up.
Yeah, probably.
And as I said on Monday, the Cowboys fall in the same category. Just a bunch of hyped up overachievers, frauds.
Okay. So you're not believing in whatever happens
No.
Sunday night?
No. I really am. I want the Niners to win, and I'll root for the Niners. But even if they do win, I'm not sitting here being like, season turned around. Like, no, they're a bunch of fraudulent overachievers right now in my mind. Still,
you're so mad
that they got to go out and prove it.
Are the Commanders one of the top teams in the NFC right now? If they beat the Bears at home, they're 3-0 at home. They would be 6-2.
Okay. Well, look who the Commanders have beaten, John.
Okay. All NFL teams. Giants, Bengals, Cards, Browns, Panthers. So no one?
I mean, the Bengals was a nice win early in the season.
Kind of, although the Bengals haven't been good, right?
What was other teams they beat?
Panthers,
nope.
Cardinals,
nah.
Browns,
nah.
Giants.
Nah.
So they haven't beaten anyone.
A lot of teams are benefited by the schedule they have from the previous year being either good or bad. Like the Niners, their schedule is going to be more tough because where they were last year. They're the number 1 seed. They finished in first place. So they get a first place schedule. Commanders, guess what? They finished in last place. They get an easier schedule. And it doesn't always work out like that you bounce back, but the NFL does that so they can have more parity in the league with, the worse off teams that have high draft picks to give them easier chances to be better the following season instead of like continuously in a rut. The team that really does that right now is the Carolina Panthers, which are
that's continuously. Yeah. Well, the thing is, Washington is also the team that's always in a rut until now. I mean, this is actually where they've had a quarterback emerge.
Mm-hmm.
They've shown signs of life. I mean, if they do beat the Bears at home at 6-2, you'd think they'd get to the postseason this year. They have the Giants on the other side of this. I mean, they could get to 7-2. It does stiffen. I mean, they'll get the Steelers and the Eagles.
Brent, are you still a non-believer in Caleb Williams or what?
I want to see him play some team that, the Bears are a lot like the Commanders. They beat a bunch of teams that suck.
That's a good
example. And, I'm not going to go and, start pumping my chest because he looked good against the Panthers and the Jaguars. When they play somebody that is actually good and he plays like that, then I'll give him credit, but I'm not sold yet.
Right. So the wins, to your point, are Rams, Panthers, Jags in a row for the Bears, and now Commanders.
Yeah, like the last 2 weeks they had a bye last week, but the last 2 games he's played really well. but
Yeah.
it was against the Panthers and the Jaguars.
We got to start somewhere.
It's kind of a sneaky good
Got
game.
to play good against the bad teams,
That's
too.
kind of good, though, from like a young quarterback perspective. If Jaden
Yeah.
Daniels does play, like that's a sneaky good game.
Sneaky good game. It's the
Yeah.
number one and number 2 overall pick in
Well,
the draft.
yeah, from
So
a
that's
TV
sneaky good.
standpoint, they're crossing their fingers hoping that
Yeah,
Daniels
he
plays because that's what
Yeah.
they've been hyping up all year. Is this is their big matchup?
Yeah,
Right.
and for Caleb Williams, Brent, like it'd be way worse if he didn't play well against the crappy teams. At least he looked like really good against the crappy teams, So that's got to be something good right there,
Well,
right?
it almost cancels out when he looked really bad against the teams that weren't crappy. So
Yeah, I mean, again, it's hard to read. I mean, rookies starting from day one in the NFL doesn't necessarily mean they're close to finished products, right? I mean, you can improve. There's guys who've had horrific rookie years to go on to really good careers, and probably vice
Peyton
versa.
Manning.
Troy Aikman.
Well, I just always remember Peyton Manning led the league in interceptions. He had like 28 interceptions, something like that. His
Troy
rookie
Aikman started,
year.
they went 1-15 his first year.
Mm-hmm. Is that pretty
My
good?
point is, like, Caleb Williams, considering circumstances, they're 4-2.
Yeah.
I mean, you look around the NFL, look at Patrick Mahomes' numbers. Look at Brock Purdy's numbers. There are not a lot of gaudy quarterback numbers out there. And I look at someone like Caleb Williams, his 2-1 touchdown interception.
Mm-hmm.
Jaden Daniels is much better than that. I mean, these guys have played. I mean, Jaden Daniels has played really well, and Caleb Williams at least has played relatively well.
Right.
He's every week he's getting rid of one of the things that like has been annoying me. He would always do this thing his first couple games where he would still think that it's college and he's playing like Cal or something to where he can just turn around and do like a bunch of 360s and outrun everybody. And instead it would turn like 1st and 10 from the 20 into like 2nd 30. So he stopped doing that. That's good. But he still just sits in the pocket too long. That's like what's driving me nuts now is he can see the pocket collapsing toward Fields would be like, oh, time to leave. And he'd take off. And Caleb's just kind of sitting there and letting it engulf him.
Could be worse. You could have Brock Purdy. I'm kidding.
Yeah, that's true.
You could be the 49ers.
You could.
Which had a team that has a bunch of injuries and they're a bunch of frauds.
So anyway, you can hear Thursday Night Football tonight.
Yeah, at least we're not
Again,
frauds.
Vikings,
That's right, Jim.
Yeah, there you go.
Vikings and Rams from Los Angeles. JB Long on the call. He's joined us a number of times over the years right here on San Diego Sports 760 as we somehow, some way are approaching the midway point of the NFL regular season. This is week 8 of 18, so we're a week away from the midway point of the NFL regular season. All right, we did promise you, a couple of things are coming up here today. Chris Hodge will join us as he always does on Thursdays.
Mm-hmm.
He'll join us at 4:30. He'll get us ready for Thursday Night Football. He'll have college and NFL picks for us coming up as well. Then Dave Velasquez is going to join us at 4:45.
Mm-hmm.
And then at 5 p.m., Wayne McKinney is going to join the show. I will pass along. It's not overly relevant locally, but I feel like the college basketball community is a tight-knit one. The head coach of USF, who used to be at Kennesaw State, the head coach of USF, Amir Abdur-Rahim, who is the brother of Sharif Abdur-Rahim, who spent 13 years in the NBA, has tragically passed away at the age of 43. And the reason I bring it up is, again, we're at a college basketball event. And secondly, 2 years ago, Kennesaw State under Amir Abdur-Rahim played here at San Diego State. They made the NCAA tournament that year. He was one of the bright young coaches in the sport. He got the job at South Florida. He underwent a medical procedure today, and the reports are that during the medical procedure, they could not, I guess, save his life. I'm not sure what the circumstances were, but he passed during a medical procedure today in the Tampa area at the age of 43. And sometimes we talk about things so like, man, Purdy sucks.
Kawhi's the worst superstar ever.
And then you get hit with real life news like life and death, and we all understand like how precious things can be. But Amir Abdur-Rahim, again, the brother of Sharif Abdur-Rahim, one of the bright young coaches in the sport of college basketball, unfortunately tragically passing today at the age of 43, the head coach of the University of South Florida Bulls, who again were here, or Kennesaw State was. He was the head coach of Kennesaw State. They were here 2 years ago. So sad news in the college basketball world. We will kick off the third hour of Jon and Jim with the wrap. We'll do that on the other side. But call right now if you want those Howl O Scream tickets. We have them for you. Caller 5, you're going to SeaWorld's Howl O Scream. That's going on now through November 2nd. The number to call is 877-767-4760. Again, 877-767-4760. Caller 5. You've got a 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld's Howl O Scream. Tickets and info at SeaWorldSanDiego.com. The wrap comes up next right here on Jon and Jim. All right, hey guys, it is Jon and Jim. We've been telling you about our friends over at Underdog, and it's the place to play if you're a sports fan. It really is. You're looking to win money while watching sports. There's nothing better than Underdog. They've got 5 million happy players across 33 states. People have won over $2 billion. Underdog makes it fun and easy to cash in on all your favorite athletes' performances.
Yeah, with their pick'em game, you could win up to 1,000 times your money just by choosing higher or lower on players' stats. With the NBA back this year, you can pick players for higher or lower, like LeBron higher than certain amount of points in the game. Also today, John, Luka Doncic higher than a half total point is a special gimme pick for Underdog Fantasy. So get to Underdog Fantasy, use our promo code Jon and Jim. You can turn your sports opinions into real money.
All right, so download the app like Jim just said. Sign up with promo code Jon and Jim. That's JONANDJIM. And deposit now to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. That's promo code Jon and Jim.
You must be 18 years or older and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms to apply. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. All right, this update is brought to you by Taco Bell. Jackson Merrill, he was awarded the Sporting News Rookie of the Year today. And tonight, NFL Thursday Night Football, Rams and Vikings in L.A. Kickoff at 5:15. You can listen to that game right here on San Diego Sports 760. Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp are both back tonight for the Rams. The slow roasted Cantina chicken menu is here to stay with ingredients like purple cabbage or freshly prepared pico de gallo. Try it today at a participating U.S. Taco Bell locations while supplies last. Contact store for participation, which varies.
Getting you all set for that drive home. Let's just start the show. Here's Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is the third hour of Jon and Jim. We're here until 5:15. We are at the Pendry downtown here in San Diego for the Top of the Key. It is a Mesa Foundation fundraiser supporting San Diego State men's basketball, which gets underway, by the way, in less than 2 weeks. What's today, Thursday? So we're 13 days away from the Aztecs opener.
Okay.
Official opener against UCSD. That'll be at Viejas Arena. They've got an exhibition game October 30th as well against Cal State San Marcos. But college basketball season is here, and we're going to be joined by, again, Dave Velasquez this hour, longtime San Diego State men's basketball assistant. A new Aztec will join us as well, Wayne McKinney, who spent the better part of his college career playing at USD across town at the University of San Diego. He'll join us coming up at 5 p.m. Our show's going to go until 5:15 because we do have Thursday Night Football tonight.
Short show today.
Well, it's really not that
actually
short,
longer show
It's actually
today.
15 minutes longer.
It's actually a longer show because we started at 2 p.m.
Yeah, people are like, wait, what? You started at 2 p.m.?
Started at 2 p.m.
Started at 2 p.m., yeah.
We did. So, okay, so we're here until 5:15. Chris Hodge will join us at 4:30. Free picks for our listeners as well. And as we always do at 4 p.m., let's get to this.
It's time for The Wrap, presented by Sombrero Mexican Food. Check out their website at sombreromex.com.
Who's going to win tonight's Thursday Night Football game?
Well, I like the fact that Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp are both back tonight for the Rams. They haven't had that all year long. It's essentially a must-win game tonight for the Rams in order to keep any hope alive. I will go with the Vikings by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, you really like the Vikings. I think the Vikings will win the game. I think it'll be closer than that. So I'll say the Vikings, again, as a 3-point favorite, leads me down the path of they'll find a way to win a close game. To your point, that the point I tried to make earlier was, the Rams probably have to win the game to have any chance at relevancy at all in 2024. But I think the Vikings, off that loss to the Lions, bounce back and win in L.A. on Thursday Night Football. Next question.
How upset will you be if Jackson Merrill doesn't win Rookie of the Year?
I will be so mad, and the fake outrage will be pouring through the airwaves here in San Diego on San Diego Sports 760.
Wow.
No, it wouldn't be fake outrage. It would be like, I would be upset, but I won't be like it's the end of the world. I would need to see how the vote panned out. If the vote panned out where Paul Skeens had got unanimous Rookie of the Year, then I would be like, what the hell just happened? But it won't be like that, and it's going to be very close. So because it's going to be close, you kind of just have to accept it. Like, oh, okay, nothing you can do. It sucks. You hate it. Jackson Merrill deserves it, but I understand. I would get it if he didn't win it.
Yeah, I mean, I would be reasonably upset, but this wouldn't be the greatest heist in the history of sports if he didn't win it.
Right.
Because, again, there's another deserved winner. I think that Jackson Merrill, we made the points earlier, he's played every day for a better team. And Paul Skeens did not make his Major League debut until over a month into the year. So I think the tiebreaker and the edge should go to Jackson Merrill, but I'm also not one of the 30 voters for the award. So I would be reasonably upset, but I wouldn't be outraged, and we've seen greater upsets in sports awards history than Paul Skeens over Jackson Merrill.
Yeah.
So I have to prepare for that possibility. Again, I think Merrill wins a close vote, but I wouldn't be shocked if Skeens wins a close vote either.
Yeah, same.
All right, next question.
Do the Padres need to bring back Higgy?
I think if they don't bring back Higgy, there's going to be some problems because right now the only catchers on this roster are Campy and oh my God, I'm blanking.
Brett Sullivan.
That ain't going to cut it, especially if Luis Campisano is going to play like he did this past year.
Move Bogarts.
Yeah, move Bogarts to catcher.
To catcher, yeah, I like that.
Can't happen. Nope. I think Higgy at a reasonable price for insurance, absolutely. Am I expecting Higgy, if he did come back, to put up another 17 home run season? No. But at least I would feel way more comfortable for the pitching staff and offensively too if you had a combination of Higgy and Campy and Brett Sullivan instead of just Campy and Sullivan. That to me would scare me.
My question would be, and it is free agency, so we'll see if someone comes in as a bidder. Well, I guess my question is, why wouldn't he be back? He's going to be 35 April 20th. He's coming off a good year. He made $2 million. I don't think there's going to be this crazy market for him. He had a very nice year. He ran into some balls, hit for power. Over a couple of months, he was red hot. But I don't think because of what he did this year, all of a sudden he goes from $2 million to $10 million per year. He's going to be 35. I think you give him a 1 or 2 year deal. You give him $3 or $4 million per year. You move on. That's the cost of doing business. But I would guess that he'd want to be back, considering the team success and his personal success. And I think he'll get a bump, but I don't think it's like Jerks Profar where you got to give him 3 years, $30 million. I think you just got to give him $3-4 million per year. Next question.
Who's going to win Game 1 of the World Series tomorrow?
Yankees.
Yankees are going to win that? We can't say anything else, right?
No, I'm not going to say
Dodgers in a landslide.
Okay.
So Garrett Cole, Jack Flaherty.
Good matchup.
A good matchup that I honestly probably would favor the Yankees having a decent shot on the road in Game 1.
Yeah. I can't. I actually, can't wait for this series because if I'm taking my bias out, which is I hate the Dodgers, there are a lot of superstar players in this World Series, a lot of Hall of Famers in this World Series. Now I hope the Dodgers get their face smashed in, like curb stomped, like they lose every game by 6 runs. But I still watch. Like it won't be fun if the Dodgers win the World Series. That's going to suck the most, and it won't be that great if the Yankees win the World Series because no one's going to be cheering other than really Yankees fans and fans that hate the Dodgers. And then at the end of the day, you just realize, oh, did I screw the Yankees there? Like what? Tomorrow in LA, by the way, John, is going to be nuts. You know what's happening tomorrow in LA, other than the World Series?
The Lakers play and the SC play at home.
The Lakers play the Suns, so that's KD and LeBron. Then you have USC Rutgers, and then
the big USC Rutgers game.
Yeah, and then you have 2.
You all know how Rutgers travels, John.
Yeah,
I think you have 2 high school football games between I think Matter Day and basically the 4 teams that are playing in high school football tomorrow are like 4 of the top college, top high school football programs in the state.
Oh, then I doubt anyone will be at the World Series. Now that I know that, now the KD's in town and the Rutgers will be.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that
it's bad enough.
I'm going to say it's because it's traffic.
Yeah.
It'll be disaster.
No, I saw the same thing that Jim saw. DOT is trying to get people to walk to the Dodgers game because they don't want them to drive.
Disaster.
Good luck with that.
I think that the Yankees are going to have to get one of the first 2 games. Right? I mean, you got to get one of the first 2
because of the way that the setup is with.
Well, I like 2-3-2 if you can win one of the first 2 games. So if it's Garrett Cole, great. I like the Cole Flaherty matchup.
Well, it worked out for the Dodgers, even though they split against the Mets. Game 1 and 2.
Worked out against the Padres too for the Dodgers.
Well, that was not a 7-game series,
but it was a split with the same scenario, right?
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, yeah, basically you're heading home with a chance to win the series and not come back. I really don't know what to think of it. I mean, Vegas has a better feel for it than I do, and Vegas says the Dodgers are a series favorite. Slight favorite, not a huge favorite, minus 130 now in the series. So, I mean, that's not a coin flip, but I don't know, 55-45 is what Vegas is saying, who's going to win the World Series, pointing towards LA. Which means, Yankees can absolutely do it, but we'll see. I mean, even in Game 1, the Dodgers are a favorite in Game 1. The Flaherty-Cole matchup should favor the Yankees, shouldn't it? Flaherty has not pitched well in the postseason.
It's crazy how the Yankees are the. I mean, someone has to be a favorite in the series.
Yeah,
but it's not as close. Is it as close as? How close is it?
How close is what?
The odds.
It's minus 130 for the Dodgers. So they're not heavy favorites. They're favorites. I mean, you lay down $13 to win 10. So they're favorites, but not strong favorites, but favorites.
Well, Yankees is underdogs. It's always weird to say.
Yeah. And honestly, like rotation, like Garrett Cole, Carlos Rodon, Clark Schmidt, Flaherty, Yamamoto, and then it's going to be Buehler.
It's Buehler,
it's going to be Buehler. So, I mean,
they've already announced it. Buehler's game 3
and then
game
bullpen
7
day will be Game 4, I guess.
Yep, and then you're going to go, I think, Flaherty, Yamamoto, Buehler for games 5, 6, 7.
Now, I will stick by this point. You guys tried to make the point that, like, well, everyone hates these teams, so are people really going to watch?
No, they're going to watch. I was just making a point on the other side of, like, well, there's no underdog here.
There isn't a true underdog. Agreed.
And a lot of people hate these teams, so there'll be a lot of hate watching.
Yeah, definitely.
like all Red Sox fans are going to be hoping the Dodgers win. But even in that sense, the Dodgers have Mookie, and you hate the Dodgers also if you're the Red Sox.
Sure.
Or if Red Sox fan. Padres fans, you hate the Dodgers, and then Juan Soto's on the Yankees. Giants fans, obviously, like, screw the Dodgers, go Yankees. But I think it will get a lot of viewers. I'm not saying it wouldn't. But if you decided not to watch, I would understand.
Oh, I would understand, especially, I mean, if you're in San Diego and you didn't like this, you said what you said about Soto, and then you say what you say about the Dodgers. I mean, I get it. There's no real winning from a San Diego perspective. I completely agree with that. But I think from a sheer numbers perspective, I don't know if it'll beat the 2016 World Series. The Cubs-Indians World Series was unbelievable. The Cubs won the World Series for the first time ever and had 40 million viewers in Game 7.
Well, it's a Game 7, John.
They had 24 million viewers in Game 6, 24 million viewers in Game 5.
Yeah,
both teams,
that's going to get 24 plus million, I think, in Game 5 and 6 and 7 if it gets there, for sure.
Yeah,
with
that, Cleveland's never won a World Series, and the Cubs didn't win one in over 100 years. This is the 88 and 90. When was last year the Yankees won? I'm not counting 2020. Yeah, so it's not like it's been 100-year or never wait to where people have just been anticipating these teams winning.
Are you saying it won't top the Cubs World Series?
I don't think it will. No,
that's the question for me. Will it top Cubs Indians 2016?
Will it top Vikings Rams?
Well, they're not playing the same day, and probably.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well, I know we always like to compare MLB ratings to like random NFL games. So
true. This is finally the series that is going to top real NFL games. When you start getting 20-something million viewers for games.
I hope so. It's a World Series
too.
Yeah, but I know it's the World Series. But last year,
that's true.
The average view, it was like 8 million people watching these games a year ago. It's like a Chargers game. All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're here until 5:15. Jon and Jim, Pendry downtown here in San Diego. Chris Hodge will join us coming up at 4:30. We do have homecoming tickets to give away as well. We'll do that coming up this hour. Dave Velasquez will stop by, longtime San Diego State men's basketball assistant. And speaking of the World Series, is there any chance Shohei Otani pitches in the World Series for the LA Dodgers? The latest from Dave Roberts on the other side. This is Jon and Jim. All right, hey guys, it is Jon and Jim, and we've been telling you about our friends over at Jamul Casino. It is a great spot to get this football season, including tonight for Thursday Night Football. Of course, the World Series this weekend as well. You can join them, in fact, every Monday night throughout the month of October for a chance to win big. They've got great promotions tied with Monday Night Football at Jamul.
Yeah, with 10 winners every hour at 7 p.m., 8 p.m., and 9 p.m. Your odds, they're better than ever. Plus, they're Onyx players. They can receive an extra $100 in cash bonuses on top of their winnings. Plus, earn entries all month long by playing and getting two-time entries on Tuesdays with at least $500 in cash for all winners and a chance to win up to $25,000 in cash.
So they've got great restaurants and bars. They really do, including Tony Gwynn Sports Pub, which has terrific food and drinks. They've got all the televisions for everything, whether it's the football or Major League Baseball postseason. And they also have endless dining 5 nights a week. Their endless dining options include a Saturday surf and turf buffet. They've gone over the top with succulent steaks, delectable seafood, and more.
Yeah, Tony Gwynn Sports Pub is the place to be to watch NFL action, postseason baseball, and NBA that just got underway as well. Jamul Casino, it's fun above all else.
All right, we're going to give away tickets for San Diego State, Washington State homecoming within the next 10 minutes. So don't go anywhere. We've got a pair of tickets for San Diego State, Washington State homecoming this Saturday at Snapdragon Stadium. Tickets are available right now at goaztecs.com. Chris Hodge will join us coming up in about 12 minutes. He'll make some free picks for our listeners. We're at the Pendry downtown for a men's basketball event benefiting the Mesa Foundation. We'll be joined by Dave Velasquez and Wayne McKinney, potentially others between now and Thursday Night Football at 5:15. Are you surprised to hear Dave Roberts say this today on the eve of the World Series? With media availability, this from Dylan Hernandez, this is from Dave Roberts, there is no possibility of Shohei Otani pitching in the World Series, according to Dave Roberts. Is that surprising? Is that
No.
shocking?
There was no possibility of it ever happening.
I know.
He threw a couple bullpens, and he's been throwing a little bit. All of a sudden, you're like, oh, yeah, I can go out there and pitch an inning for you. Like, give me a break.
So no possibility. Not 18th
Nope.
inning.
Nope. No, John. No. 0.
Everyone's been used.
0.0% chance of Shohei Otani pitching. That's like non-news to me. Like anytime I see quotes out from a manager like Mike Schultz says that they really want to win today's game, like
no,
of course no S. Like Shohei Otani is not going to pitch in the World Series. Yeah, duh. Well, nothing's. What's changed here? Nothing.
Have we wrapped our minds around the fact that Otani, come April, will be pitching every 7th day? Is that the expectation? He'll throw once a week as a starter?
No, we have not wrapped our heads around that yet, John.
But that's likely, right?
Probably very likely.
It seems like that.
Very scary to think about if you are not a Dodger fan.
Right.
Because you're like, wait a second, hold on.
The last time he was on a mound, Jim, was 2023.
Yeah. Now, he got rocked when he was here in San Diego, and then I think he had a couple other good starts, and then his arm blew out.
Right. Where is
Remember
pitching
that?
numbers? Yeah, I do.
It's always hard to
I know,
find his
it's so
pitching
annoying.
numbers because they don't have like a section to have both.
Listen, it's 2021, 3.18 in 23 starts. Okay.
Yeah.
2022, a 2.33 in 28 starts.
Mhm.
2023, a 3.14 in 23 starts. So he
That's
kind
pretty good.
of falls out of bed in that like 3.1 ERA range.
He's
and
never
makes
gonna
23, 24 starts.
But he's never going to pitch 180 innings. He's always
No.
going to be like a 130 guy.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Very
you also
good.
get the 50 home runs to go along with it.
I know.
But so I'm just, again, is it a complete game changer with 2025? The idea of Otani returning to a mound? I don't know if it's complete. I don't know. How's he going to look coming off TJ?
I don't know either. And it's like the idea that, Otani is equivocally the best baseball player in the sport by a mile is only to me if he pitches.
That he's the best player by a mile he would need to pitch? Yeah, because otherwise they're comparable offensive players.
Yeah, you can't tell me that DH is the best player in the game. Sorry. I just don't. Yeah.
So let's say Judge didn't play this year, had a down year. Just give Judge the, like Manny year. Okay. Which, he hasn't always had the seasons he's had here recently. Whatever. He hit 30 home runs.
Yeah.
Would you still say that he can't be the best offensive player in the game if he's DH? If Judge wasn't Judge this year?
No, I didn't say that. I said best player, not best offensive player.
Okay. So where would you turn for best player if it wasn't Judge? Like, would you go to pitcher then? Would you?
I mean, you might have to go to Otani just because of the numbers he put up was better than everybody else. And by the way, if Judge had a down year, then Otani would actually lead the league in some offensive categories, unlike this year when he led the league in one, which was runs scored.
Right.
He didn't lead the league in any other offensive category other than runs scored this year.
No, I understand. Listen, the idea that a DH
it's the best DH season in the history of the sport.
It's the best. Yeah, it's the best season for a DH. He had an amazing year. He had an amazing year. Now, can he top that year by pitching? Yes, because we've seen him have these amazing years where he's been a good hitter and a good pitcher. What does that mean for the Dodgers moving forward? Again, I can't even concern myself with it yet.
No.
Because I don't know what's going to happen here over the next 10 days. Do they win the World Series? Do they not win the World Series? What's he look like coming back from Tommy John on the mound? Are they going to lean on him like the Angels did? Is he going to start?
I'm just not a fan of Otani. I just not. I just think that it becomes when he is shoved down your throat so much And I'm like, I can clearly point to another player that had a better offensive season than him, that everybody is shoving it down everybody's throat saying Otani's the greatest single athlete in the history of baseball.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
and it's not even close.
like, yeah,
Right.
it's not even close. Like,
right.
no, stop it. Stop it. It's like, I can think of other players off the top of my head that I would take over Shohei Otani in a second. I'd take Ken Griffey Jr. over him. I'd take Barry Bonds over him. I would take, Aaron Judge had a better season than him this year. Like, I just, whatever, dude. I'm also not an Otani guy.
Here's the thing. I mean, the fact that I don't know what to make of Otani yet because he hasn't fully written his story. As in the next 10 years could change everything for him or change nothing. Is he going to win at an extremely high level? And is he going to be the reason why the Dodgers win at a high level or not? When you sign a $700 million deal, you're going to have to win consistently over and over and over again. And you're going to have to be the primary reason as to why. If he does that, the conversation continues to change. He could go down as one of the game's greats. Has he had an amazing 2-3 year run? Yeah. I mean, there's very few examples of what he's done in baseball history where you pitch with a 3 ERA and you hit 40 or 50 home runs. Yeah, okay, that's a unicorn. There's not a lot of examples of that.
I don't view him in a light of like, we should be praising Otani all the time. He is a guy that left the Angels to go to the evil empire Dodgers. Like, it's like a LeBron thing. When LeBron left Cleveland and he went to Miami, he was vilified for it because he left a team that he came up with and teamed up with his buddies.
Mm-hmm.
Otani didn't team up with his buddies, but he essentially, I want to say, fixed the system to go to the Dodgers. He got all that money deferred, which would not have happened for any other player in the sport other than Shohei Otani. He, in a betting scandal, played dumb and didn't realize that his best friend was stealing money from him. And then now he's all of a sudden the greatest player in the history of the sport because he had a 50-50 year when stolen bases are something that is much easier to do than it was just a couple years ago. And oh, by the way, he didn't even lead the league in stolen bases this year either.
Cut that up and put it on social media. All right, call right now if you want a 4-pack of tickets. I mean, you make some good points. If you want a 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld's Howl Scream, call right now. Caller 5, you are going. No, we don't have Howl Scream. These are for homecoming. We have homecoming tickets.
Oh,
call right now for homecoming.
Hard
Caller
right.
5, you're going to homecoming Saturday night. Snapdragon Stadium, San Diego State, Washington State. Forget about Howl Scream right now.
Yeah.
If you want to go to Snapdragon, call right now. 877-767-4760. Caller 5, you are going. Tickets are available at goaztecs.com. San Diego State, Washington State, Saturday night, Snapdragon Stadium at 7:30 p.m. Again, caller 5, call 877-767-4760. Chris Hodge taking Vegas. He's got free picks for our listeners as he does each and every week on the other side. This is Jon and Jim.
Will they put up a Judge is 3 batters away?
All right, hey guys, it is Schaefer. And what if you could be debt free by this January? Get rid of all that high interest debt, pay off all your credit cards, consolidate everything into one lower payment. If you're ready to stop stressing over bills, you need to call Loan Pronto right now. With rates at their lowest in 2 years, this is the perfect chance to use your home's equity and save big going into the new year. Loan Pronto has rates with APRs in the low fives, and they're getting homeowners hundreds of thousands out of their home's equity. Homeowners who do this save on average $850 a month. Huge money. Loan Pronto offers a ton of options, including total refis or their express equity lines of credit. So call now, get a rate quote in just minutes with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. Call today. You won't make a house payment until 2025. You heard me right. LoanPronto.com or 619-207-4336. That's LoanPronto.com. Free rate quotes at 619-207-4336. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781 on approved credit. NMLS consumeraccess.org.
All right, this update is brought to you by Taco Bell. Jackson Merrill today was named the Sporting News Rookie of the Year. Good for him. The official Rookie of the Year awards will be announced in November. And tonight, NFL Thursday Night Football, Rams and Vikings kick off at 5:15. You can listen to that game right here on San Diego Sports 760. Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp are both back tonight and active for the Rams. The slow roasted Cantina chicken menu is here to stay with ingredients like purple cabbage and freshly prepared pico de gallo. Try it today at a participating U.S. Taco Bell location while supplies last. Contact store for participation, which varies.
All right, Jon and Jim back with you. The Pendry here down in San Diego. We're going to be talking to San Diego State men's basketball coming up over the next 45 minutes. We'll have Dave Velasquez with us for 4:45, one-time Aztec. Men's basketball assistant David Kinney, transfer from USD, guard on the Mason. Coming up at 5 p.m. Thursday football. Coming up at 5:15 as well. We'll have Chris Hodge in a moment. TakingVegas.com. He joins us each and every Thursday. He makes his free picks. He's also a diehard, lifelong New York Yankees fan.
And he avoided disaster in his household with the Yankees-Mets World Series.
True. His wife's a diehard Mets fan. He's a diehard Yankees fan. He's the one getting the last laugh. The Mets are playing.
Yeah, so the Yankees didn't play the Mets, but still, yes, he gets the last laugh.
Okay, so Chris, as you know, because we've talked about this for weeks on end, everyone has now become a lifelong diehard Yankees fan in San Diego, like yourself, because of the Dodgers. So I think you've got San Diego pulling for you from like a non-betting perspective, just to say lifelong diehard Yankees fan. How are you feeling about this? You got the Yankees for 40 plus years. We get into 2024. Like, what are your nerves like for the series? That's still dropping out.
You know what? I'm a big Yankees fan. It's the only team in sports I actually root for. But it's still not going to get it should be a great series. I think the Yankees. Now, I got to try to be not biased about this, right? Because I am a Yankees fan. So when you try to break it down from the perspective of gambling, you got to be careful at it. I think the Yankees are actually a good bet at the price they are. They're pretty heavy underdog. Kind of surprised that they're such a big underdog. Cleveland had the best full season in the league. Yankees took that ball, right? That's just a fact. They took that bullpen apart. And that's what you're going to get with the Dodgers. The Dodgers are a very heavy bullpen team.
Yep.
So I think the Yankees are going to be able to do some damage against them. But here's the problem with the Dodgers, as you guys are well aware. Otani, Betts, the situation with Freeman, if he plays. I mean, they got a great lineup. I think it's going to be a great series. I think at the end, I think it goes 7, and I got to go with my Yankees in 7. So plus 140, plus 150, I think that's pretty good value for them.
Yeah, no, that's good value, and again, would make San Diego Padres fans very happy if it does play out that way here in 2024. So we have Chris Hodge with us. He's been so good for our listeners. All right, so a week ago, you won both of your free picks. I think you lost on the free text play, but you hit on Georgia. You hit on the under with Chiefs-Niners. Niners lost, Jim, by the way.
Thanks for telling me.
So you've got a free pick tonight. You can hear that game right here on San Diego Sports 760, Vikings-Rams. How can our listeners get tonight's free play, and how are you feeling about that game?
Yeah, listen, and we're always transparent. We did lose the free pick on the text line last week, but we've been very, very good with these Thursday night text line picks. So if you text the word win to the number 545454, you get Minnesota and the Rams tonight. Absolutely free. What we also did do last week, though, is remember, we always give out 2 free picks. So we did lose the Thursday night game, but we came back and won the Saturday college football game. That was a crazy game. We actually won a North Texas back and forth game, but plus the points. So the free bonus Saturday play for the text is now 4-0 the last 4, and the free Thursday is now 3-1 the last 4. So last week we did lose on Thursday, but if you want this game for free tonight, all you have to do is text the word win to the number 545454. You get this play tonight, and then you will automatically receive a bonus play on Saturday. So it's 2 picks, 1 NFL, 1 college, and we'll look to go 2-0 for you guys.
And Chris, as always, you have 2 free picks for our listeners. Let's go to college football and LSU and Texas A&M. What's your play on that one?
So I know people hate when I do this. I did it last week with the Chiefs and the Niners, and look, we held on there, at the very last second. But I'm going to go with the under in LSU and Texas A&M. It's 55. I know people don't like to bet unders, but I really think that's overvalued. If you look at both teams, they both lost their season opening games. They haven't lost since. Both are 6-1. They're not really great against the spread. Texas A&M 2-5, ATS, LSU 3-4. But both defenses are really good. And over there at Kyle Field, Texas A&M has played phenomenal defense, not just this season, but if you go back to last season as well, the most points they allowed at home over those 2 seasons is 26 points, and that came against Alabama, so you can't kill them for that. They played great defense at home. Their quarterback isn't great. He missed some time this year. He has 4 interceptions against 3 touchdowns, so that's not very good. Texas A&M is going to try to run the ball at home, and I think both teams are going to play defense. You look at LSU; they give up about 21 a game. Texas A&M gives up about 17, 18 a game. 2 highly ranked teams. LSU's 8. I think Texas A&M's 13 or 14, whatever they are right now. I think it's going to be a very hard-fought game. I think the crowd noise will affect LSU's offense. I'm going to stay away from the spread, but I think under 55. I think that's a lot of value there. I don't think this game's going to get above 47, so we'll go under 55.
All right, under is the play, LSU, Texas A&M. Again, if you want tonight's game, Vikings-Rams, all you have to do is text the word WIN, W-I-N, to 545454. That's text WIN to 545454. Get it absolutely free. Let's switch to the NFL. Jim's Niners again against the Cowboys. Both of these teams have just been kind of blah. So, Cowboys-Niners, Sunday Night Football. How are you feeling about this one, Chris?
Oh, he ain't going to like this pick. So, but let's get right to it. I mean, San Francisco is -4.5, -5. And I just think that's too many points. Now, that might sound crazy because the last time we watched Dallas, they got annihilated by Detroit. And they had a week off to kind of stew over that. And they come back now and they get a reeling 49ers team off a tough loss against Kansas City. And not just that, they lose Ayuk, Samuel's banged up, Bosa's banged up, Kittle's banged up. I mean, their talent, obviously CMC hasn't played this season. It's just so hard in the NFL to do what the 49ers did. A couple years ago, they go to the conference title game. They pretty much don't win that game because of quarterback injury. Come back the year after, they go to the Super Bowl. And that's a great 2-year run, even though they didn't win the big game. But, coming back to do it in year 3, it's just so hard to do it. Unless, of course, the Kansas City Chiefs right now. But I just think it's too many points for the 49ers with how banged up they are. If Dallas doesn't show pride in this game, you're never going to show pride because you can't lose by 100 to Detroit and that game was a nationally televised game. Okay, and now come back on another nationally televised game, and as a professional athlete, not step up and not let that embarrassment fuel you. So, you take the Cowboys here. They could lose the game 21-17 and you still win your bet. So I just think it's too many points for the 49ers to lay. They're too hurt. Dallas is going to show some pride. I think it's going to be a very close game either which way, 3 points. So I'm going to take the underdog. So go Dallas plus 4.5.
So real quick, Chris, before you go back to the World Series for a moment, the value may be, is that Yankees kind of plus 140, plus 150 for the series, or if it ends up going like to a 6th game and they win, or a 7th game? And
No,
is there any?
Dodgers
What's the value?
170. Dodgers
Okay.
are a heavy favorite in this series right now. And look, the Dodgers probably are. They probably are the better baseball team. But they're also hurt right now. They have some things going on where their starting pitching is banged up. And look, my wife will disagree with this. We've been over this. The Mets are not a good baseball team. Okay, the Mets got hot in certain situations, and they just rode a wave. If you look at the baseball team, they're not a good baseball team. Okay, they just got hot. The Yankees are a good baseball team. The Mets, took the Dodgers to 6 games. Padres could have beat them. The Padres are a good team. I thought the Padres were going to give them a run for their money. I just think the Yankees, with the way Soto's hitting the ball right now, and if Judge ever comes around and starts going again, I think the Yankees are going to be a tough out. Now, my wife went for the Dodgers jersey, which is crazy to me.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
terrible.
that's even worse to be a Mets fan, in my opinion.
The Met fans make no sense. They're rooting. They're rooting now for the team that just beat them. Never in the world does it make sense.
Yeah,
but that's the Met fans.
Right. No, Padres fans are not rooting for the Dodgers.
No, they're
Correct.
not.
Simple.
Yeah.
But
Simple
no, you
as
can't.
that.
Me, I would never. I root for Satan before I root for the Red Sox. I'd rather Satan win than the Red Sox win. But the Met fans are just these type of people, man. That's how they are.
To each their own. Chris Hodge taking Vegas again. If you want tonight's game, absolutely free. Vikings Rams. You can text the word "win" to 545454. That's "win" to 545454. Chris, we appreciate it. Good luck over the next handful of days with these Yankees. We'll catch up again next Thursday. We'll see where this series stands, and we always appreciate it. Thanks, man.
All right, thanks, guys. Yeah, have a great night. Okay.
All right, Chris Hodge, takingvegas.com. Again, 2-0 last week with his free picks for our listeners. And yeah, I think it's fair to say that, basically all Padres fans are rooting for the Yankees. I don't see how you wouldn't be.
If you are rooting for the Dodgers, I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah, I don't want to see the split hat.
No,
Padre. No. I've never seen the split Padre-Dodger.
No, I don't want anybody to be, if the Dodgers win the World Series, like, man, I'm so happy for guys like, Dave Roberts and Tommy Edmond and other guys that used to be here in San Diego, maybe grew up here.
Right, he's from San Diego. It doesn't matter.
I don't
They
care.
wear Dodgers
If you're in a
uniform.
Dodgers uniform, they're dead to me.
Right, but he's from here. Well,
he played baseball here.
Yeah.
No, I don't care. Dodgers, not happening.
All right, we are at the Pendry downtown here in San Diego. Mesa Foundation supporting San Diego State men's basketball. We'll have Dave Velasquez join us coming up in the next handful of minutes. Wayne McKinney will swing by at 5 p.m. We've got Thursday Night Football coming up at 5:15. It's Jon and Jim. I always do that.
Yeah.
One ear. It's honestly, it's better. It's not good for if you're a radio guy, they say, because you turn the volume up. But it's okay when you're not a radio guy.
Some
You don't do it for
radio
a living.
people, like, their headsets are so loud.
Yeah, exactly.
I have to do it after games though, because it blocks out.
All right, back with you here, the Pendry, downtown San Diego, top of the key, Mesa Foundation event supporting San Diego State men's basketball for the second consecutive year. We were here a year ago. San Diego State was getting fitted for Final Four national championship game appearance rings.
That was fun.
That was super fun. Tonight's going to be a ton of fun. Aztecs coming off a Sweet 16. We're pleased to be joined by longtime San Diego State assistant Dave Velasquez right now from the Pendry. Coach, it is great to see you, and hopefully tonight is a great night like it was a year ago.
Absolutely. And the Mesa Foundation is so important for our program. It's just the lifeline of any program is recruiting.
Yeah.
And now it's not just recruiting, it's retainment.
Mm-hmm.
And what Mesa Foundation, what they're able to do to help us in our efforts in recruiting and retainment is incredibly important. The way we do it is the right way. The amount of charitable work these guys do is incredible. It's great to see our players out in the community. And then there's also a lot of stuff that we're connected with, like the Blenders. I think it's probably the most major one, along with Broken Yoke and others. But, to have that kind of visibility in the city, and trust me, when the Padres are going through the playoffs, it was just unbelievable. And then it kind of, there's two big things in the city going right now. It's the San Diego Padres and Aztec men's basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just the truth. And there's a lot of support behind that. And there's continuing to be more support behind Aztec men's basketball. And that's why we're all here tonight.
And, the way the landscape is in college athletics, for you having to adapt to this new way of life, how has that been for you and as a coaching staff as well? Because, you've been around for a long time. You were around before NIL. Now you're in on NIL. So how has that transition for you been over the last couple of years, being as this is the driving force now in college athletics is NIL initiatives and with the Mesa Foundation here?
Yeah. It's incredible that, not that long ago, I'm only 41 years old, but not that long ago. So for me, it's just crazy to see the complete shift in college athletics, the entire landscape.
Yeah.
But it's, and it's continuing to be fluid. It's continuing to change. There's things that are changing daily. And I think for us, it's been great to have university support our NIL efforts for everything. And at the same time, we're always trying to get ahead. You're trying to see the next step before it actually happens. You're trying to be on the forefront. You don't want to be playing catch up all the time. And it's interesting now you become a fundraiser as much as a coach and a recruiter, to be honest with you. And, we've always had great relations with people in the city, but now it's different having to ask them for, to get into their checkbooks and money.
Dave Velasquez, longtime San Diego State men's basketball assistant, is with us. We had Dutch with us last week. We talked about this Players Era Festival that's coming up in Las Vegas next month. What Brian Dutcher, by the way, of course, will be here tonight, part of this Mesa Foundation event, Top of the Key. How significant is it? I mean, when we talk about it becoming about dollars and cents, when you get included in an event like this, what is this going to mean for San Diego State now and moving forward to be a part of an event like this? Because this is dollars that impacts the Mesa Foundation, right?
Absolutely. It goes right to the Mesa Foundation.
Yeah.
And it doesn't go direct to the university. It goes to the Mesa Foundation, which there in turn can help, like I said, in our recruiting efforts and our retainment efforts of our current team.
Yeah.
And, again, it's incredibly important because what it does, we have basically 3 years, hopefully, with this group.
Mm-hmm.
And we're hoping that is something that we can rely on for 3 straight years. And that is a big chunk of our money moving forward in terms of our, what we have to, like I said, get great players in here, because you can have a great coaching staff, you can have great culture, you can have great facilities, you can have an unbelievable university, but if you don't have players, you can't win. And that's just the fact of the matter. And we've always known that. And I think it's again, it's something that we're going to continue to learn as we go through this. But yeah, we're very fortunate and lucky to be a part of that event, and we're excited for that event. And that event's a lot more than just NIL. It's preparing you for March. It's setting you up to be in a position to play in March, and it gets your team ready for conference play as well. I mean, there's so many positives of playing in an event like that. And it's awesome to see that San Diego State's one of the teams they thought of that would be, a national powerhouse to play against a lot of blue bloods and teams that they can rely on to be good and expect to be good every season.
The loss of Reese Waters here to start the season. It was reported yesterday he's going to be out for a little while. How does that affect the team here to start the season and the impact of the loss of Reese for you guys?
Our guys are resilient. And again, more than anything, they just feel bad for Reese.
Yeah.
They're not really thinking about what does it mean for me or our team. Obviously it's a huge piece that we're going to miss to start the year. Reese has been a guy that he's one of the 2 returners that gave us, really quality, valuable minutes. I mean, he truly had won games for San Diego State, which you can't really say of anybody else really on the team. Miles Bird had unbelievable moments. But Reese was a guy we were really relying on to teach the other guys. And also as a coach, you're going into the big games, he'll be ready. He's been through a lot of great high level basketball games throughout his career. And so for us though, it's kind of a next man up. Reese has been there at practice every day. He's helping the guys that are now going to have to step up, and every single guard on our team will have a little bit bigger of a role. And I think that will be great for our guys. And we just watched BJ Davis have an unbelievable scrimmage versus UCLA on Sunday, and took an opportunity, ran with it, and we expect other guys to do the same when they get healthy.
Dave Velasquez with us right now, San Diego State men's basketball assistant. Speaking of Sunday at UCLA, again, you're down a number of players in that scrimmage. We know what was publicized. We saw the box score, what BJ Davis did.
Yeah.
What did you just think of the team's overall performance? We know BJ obviously starred, but how did the team perform in that situation, down a number of players?
That was the most impressive. That was the thing that, I'm proud of our guys for the togetherness early in the season.
Mm-hmm.
You could tell that they're connected. You could tell that they had each other's back when they made a mistake, that someone was there to cover for them. And again, I think it was one of those things where we're happy that we have a group that we know can step up in different roles and they can play different kind of positions. And, again, you want a guy like BJ Davis who has been in this program, hasn't had that opportunity to really get out there and play multiple minutes, to go out there and play that well. But it was also great to see Magungwath, who we've heard all these great things about.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot more than I've heard. That's how good he's been.
Yeah,
We've heard a lot, but I've seen it every day at practice. It was his first Division I game. If you think about it, his first time playing against someone else that wasn't his own team. And it was fun to see him and his growth and where he's going to be and how much he's going to grow from there, along with our other 2 freshmen that were out there to be able to, their first time being out there was playing against, a really stacked UCLA team. And that UCLA team is good.
Yeah.
So we, and they, obviously it's different, the field in a game. They had, program substitutions, but not taking anything away from our guys. I'm just proud of the fight and the togetherness and the next play mentality that we preach every day. It was fun to watch them have to go through it.
And speaking of BJ Davis, his great scrimmage against UCLA, 28 points. Does that give you guys more confidence to maybe give him a bigger of a role, that you saw that in a scrimmage and it's like, okay, maybe we can give this kid, a bigger role here this season?
He was expecting to have a big role in the first place, but I think now with the not having Reese early in this season, he's going to be relied on more. And I think it's going to give obviously the coach a little bit more comfort that we've seen that day. That's going to be hard to take away from our minds for a long time. And but at the same time, he has a lot of growth to be done. It's not like he had a perfect game. He just shot the ball really well, but what he did defensively was good as well. And again, just getting all of our guys back, how we mesh. I think next Wednesday's game, our exhibition game against San Marcos, we're hoping to have Nick Boyd Wayne McKinney back. I mean,
Yeah.
so now you had two huge guards to that lineup, and for us, it's going to be exciting to see how this group all comes together as we go on in this early part of the season.
San Diego State, San Marcos Wednesday. We'll actually give away tickets for that next week right here on Jon and Jim. San Diego Sports 760, then starts for real. I mean, that's hard to believe. We're 13 days out. UCSD, Viejas Arena. Like you starting to get that. I mean, what's it like for you as the season approaches? Is it itch? Is it sleepless nights? What's it like this time of year?
It's amazing how once you play that first scrimmage, once you play someone else, how much it naturally clicks. It's like, all right, the season's here. All right, now we're moving on, and we're watching film of our UCLA scrimmage all week, and now we'll start watching film on San Marcos. And then once we play San Marcos, watch a lot of that film, and then get ready for UC San Diego, who we had to win on a buzzer beater last year, and then on and on through November. But now it's like the season's here. Now you start to get into that rhythm and the flow of the season, the anticipation, the nervousness, the already sleepless nights, just getting excited and anxious for this season. And hopefully we can stay a little bit healthier, more healthy in November in this early part than we have through October. But we're excited to get this year going. And I'm very excited for the new guys, extremely proud of where they were in July when they first all came together to where they are now. I think that's the biggest thing. You want to see growth. You want to see buy-in. We have all of that. Now we just got to put it together. And now we got to do it in front of some fans, because we know Viejas, even for our exhibition game, is going to be rocking in there. So we're excited to get out there and show everybody our new squad, and so many new faces. And that's part of the Mesa Foundation event tonight is, all our great supporters and friends of the Mesa Foundation. The number one thing is they don't know a lot of these guys.
Sure.
They haven't seen them. They don't. And they're going to be proud of not just who they are as basketball players, but their high character and who they are as people. And that's why we have this event tonight. It's so much more than basketball when you get a chance to meet our young men.
Dave Velasquez, San Diego State men's basketball assistant coach. It is always great to connect. We're excited for next week and the weeks to follow here for the 2024-25 men's basketball season. And as always, we appreciate you doing it. Great seeing you here tonight.
Thank you guys for having me. Go Aztecs.
All right, Dave Velasquez. Wayne McKinney will join us on the other side. We're at the Pendry, downtown San Diego. It's Jon and Jim.
All right, this update is brought to you by Taco Bell. Jackson Merrill today was awarded the Sporting News Rookie of the Year. The official Major League Baseball Rookie of the Year will be awarded in November. And tonight, 5:15 kickoff are moments away from Vikings and Rams in LA. Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp are both returning tonight for the Rams. The slow roasted Cantina chicken menu is here to stay with ingredients like purple cabbage and freshly prepared pico de gallo. Try it today at a participating U.S. Taco Bell location while supplies last. Contact store for participation, which varies.
Getting you all set for that drive home. Let's just start the show. Here's Jon and Jim.
All right, final time here on Jon and Jim until 5:15. We do have Thursday Night Football right here on San Diego Sports 760, which is Vikings-Rams. JB Long, friend of the show, will be on the call coming up in about 12 minutes from Los Angeles. Vikings and Rams to kick off Week 8 in the NFL season. Great to catch up with Dave Velasquez for a few minutes.
Yeah.
A few moments ago, we're at the Pendry, which is a spectacular hotel downtown. It is what they refer to as the top of the key event, benefiting the Mesa Foundation and San Diego State men's basketball. We were fortunate enough to be here a year ago for this event. They're coming off, at that time, a trip to the national championship game. This year, coming off a trip to the Sweet 16. The men's basketball team's going to be here momentarily, and this is a fun night for us just to be around this and to get excited for the upcoming season. This is going to be a pretty cool night.
And I peeked into the ball room.
Did you?
And there's a little photo booth set up with the Sweet 16 banner from last year.
Oh, do you want to go in that, me and you, or is that more you and Aaron?
It's probably more me and actually maybe it might be me and you.
We'll be in there. I mean, you know.
And I don't know if they have the Final Four banner in there. Probably not, because it's a couple years ago. Maybe they do. I don't know. But anyway, I saw the Sweet 16 banner in there. The whole setup is amazing. The bar over there for cocktail hour. You got a bunch of auction items here. It's just a great event for the Mesa Foundation, top of the key, and it's great for the Aztec basketball program.
Now, will you be bidding on anything here tonight?
Well, I might bid.
You could bid on broadcaster for the day.
The broadcaster for a day for us
to join Ted and go to a game and
and hang out and see us one day.
You could bid
outside of Viejas. Maybe not, because I'm with you all the time, and I don't want to spend money to hang out with you.
You don't seem to be like a prime candidate to be the big spender tonight here at this event.
I mean, there's a really cool Mova Globe over there. Shout out Mova Globe.
Yeah.
There is a Aztec Tony Gwynn signed baseball jersey,
which is really cool.
Very rare to get.
Mm-hmm.
There is
team signed basketballs.
There are Saquon. There is just a bunch of cool items to bid on here. Golf. Wineries.
You like golf?
Love golf.
Yeah.
Really cool memorabilia over here. Like there's a signed basketball by Bill Walton.
I think there's a signed photo of Kawhi in an Aztec uniform, isn't there?
There is a signed picture of Kawhi in an Aztec
at San Diego
uniform.
State. So, I mean, you've heard us talk about the importance of the Mesa Foundation, because what's interesting to me is there's oftentimes when a player leaves or the Aztecs don't get a player that they're going after, people are like, how could this happen? How could this player go?
Right.
Well, we can explain plain as day how it happens, because these collectives matter, and events like this matter. And we've told people about Mesa Foundation. A lot of Aztec fans have supported over the years. It's just the new world of college athletics. So mesa-aztecs.org, mesa-aztecs.org. It is a whole new team, right? I mean, it's just a whole new team.
Do they have kombucha here for you think?
They do. Nova Kombucha is here tonight.
Just for you.
Big time supporter of San Diego State.
Nova Kombucha is a massive supporter. So that's good.
So, okay, we were going to catch up with Wayne McKinney. I don't know if we're going to have time for it or not, because the team is still en route here downtown, and there's a good amount of traffic because my wife's heading down. Your wife is heading down. Maybe that's why there's traffic, because Aaron's coming and Kristen's coming. And the team.
They're the only two people on the road right now.
Yeah, exactly. But I thought Dave Velasquez made a really interesting point for the people that'll be here tonight, and then for people inside Viejas Arena next week, and then for the opener against UCSD. You're kind of meeting a whole new team, because their starters have all been replaced. Now, you did have Reese back, Reese Waters, but Reese is going to miss a few weeks here at least because of this foot injury. So when you see him against San Marcos next week, and we'll give away tickets here next week, when you see him against UCSD or you see him at these fundraising events, there's a lot of these players that Aztec fans aren't yet familiar with that they're going to become very familiar with in the weeks ahead.
And that's the world of college athletics and basketball especially. Like, this program is very fortunate to have the run that it did with the players that it did for as long as it did. Usually you don't see that happen a lot in college basketball, where a program keeps its core guys together for 2-3 seasons. And, oh, by the way, they make runs to the Sweet 16 in back-to-back years, and they go to Nick Boyd. He talked about Florida Atlantic last year.
Mm-hmm.
They had a really good team on paper, and they got full of themselves, and they had everybody returning, and they did not make it even close to the tournament last season. So
no, they made the tournament.
I meant the Final Four. My
Sure.
yeah, they didn't make it close to the Final Four.
Right. They did make,
yeah.
but you're right. They weren't seeded as high as they expected to be.
Right.
I don't think they didn't win their league. They were an at-large team. You're right.
So this program's been very fortunate, and as the years go, change happens, and you got to retool and you got to regroup, and that's exactly what this program has done with some really good transfers, some really promising recruits, and really some guys that are returning that are going to have to take that next step and have a bigger role this year.
So today is October 24th, which means we're only 3 weeks away from San Diego State hosting Gonzaga at Viejas Arena. We are about a month away from them playing this Players Era Festival. It's an NIL event. It benefits the collectives, where they're going to play Creighton and Oregon, another opponent in that tournament as well. I mean, this is coming quick. We're going to know a lot about where the Aztecs stand within about a month. And Dutch has talked about this, that you can do your work in a number of ways to get to the NCAA tournament. You can build a resume in November and put yourself in a position to make the tournament if you do that. If you don't play your best basketball in November, you can play well throughout conference play, and you can build your resume that way. And then, of course, if you have to get in by winning the Mountain West tournament, San Diego State's familiar with that as well. They've won a lot of Mountain West tournaments over the years under Dutch, under Steve Fisher. So it's not like with Reese being out, I would say this for Aztec fans, it's not like the season is on the line when you take the floor against Gonzaga at home. Would it be nice to get that game? Of course it would.
Yeah.
It's not like the season's going to be on the line against Creighton on a neutral floor in Las Vegas coming up Thanksgiving week. Again, would you like to get those games? Yes, but there's plenty of opportunities, and we'll see if they continue to grow, get healthier as the year goes on. Maybe they get some of these games in November. If not, maybe they position themselves in January, February, and March.
What was your dumb tweet today about some
non-conference
strength of schedule?
Perfect for the radio, right?
Yeah.
I just San Diego State will have a very difficult non-conference strength of schedule,
but also they will have
more conference
games, and more chances to slip up
in the conference.
Because you got Air Force, and San Jose State, and
Fresno
Wyoming,
State,
and Fresno State, all really, 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 really bad strength of schedules. I don't know what their net rankings are, but they're probably not going to be really good.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Players are beginning to make their way in. Is Wayne going to swing by here?
We have
we just have a couple of minutes.
Okay, a couple of minutes.
Let's go. I don't know if are we going to have Wayne on here right now, real quick or not? I think we're. Were you planning to come on right now? Were you planning to come on the radio or not? Just to come on. You're good. You're good,
man.
Enjoy.
Go get a drink. Go have a good time. We'll talk
up
to you
against
soon.
some breaks.
Yeah.
So, we appreciate that.
Yeah, all good, man.
All right. So Aztecs are making their way in, and we are at this event downtown San Diego. We are back tomorrow, by the way, 3 to 6. San Diego Sports 760, typical Friday.
Yep.
Right. We're back in the studio.
It's a typical Friday, John. Just get ready for Game 1 of the World Series. Hopefully.
Oh, just that.
Yeah, and everything will be back to normal, John.
Everything's gonna be back to normal. Of course, homecoming is Saturday as well, and then Game 1 of the World Series. We will get you ready for that, of course, tomorrow on San Diego Sports 760. No back page today, right?
No.
Was there anything that you were really hoping to tell our listeners today that you haven't shared as of yet? You can do an unofficial back page. Is there anything we've talked about over the last 24 hours, back and forth texting, that you want to get to? Because you have a minute if you want to.
Give me 1 second here.
But you don't have to.
I got some random thing. Here we go. Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
McDonald's is giving away $1 10-piece nuggets from November 4th to December 2nd.
So that's $1 for 10-piece nuggets.
Yeah, it's an amazing deal. McDonald's 10-piece McNuggets for just $1. Since it's app exclusive and valid once per week.
Okay.
So once per week, if you have the app, you can get a 10-piece chicken nugget for $1 from November 4th to December 2nd. and the team has just arrived.
Okay, so that there's your back page. By the way, would you like to reply real quick? Earlier, you went on your Otani rant.
Oh, what is it?
619 says, Jim, you're the cringy, bitter ex with your Otani bashing.
Okay. Thanks for listening.
And then someone else, a different text line. Someone with 619, 626 says, Jim, would you be a fan of Shohei if he was a Padre?
Absolutely. All of my opinions would be different.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's just how sports works, right?
It just happens.
Would
it's
you
called fandom.
Would you be a fan of Manny Machado if he was on the Dodgers?
No,
Padres
yeah,
fans?
no,
No, you wouldn't.
no.
I mean, you weren't when he was, you know?
It's fandom. Yes. Is my opinion biased? 100%.
Right.
Is there a little truth in there? Yes.
Right.
But it is a lot based on my hatred of the Dodgers? Probably.
Yeah, that's fair. That's what fandom is.
And you know what? I'm not paid to come on the radio and to have unbiased opinions.
Right.
I'm paid to come on the radio
to have opinions.
Have opinions.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they're kind of biased. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, did we think there was a moment in time over the years we thought the Padres could have landed Otani? Go back years. There was a possibility when he came over.
Well, yeah, they tried.
They tried. They really did.
Yeah.
And then once we got to free agency, they were never giving out $700 million. The last offseason, that wasn't happening. They were never going to be in a position to give out $700 million. No. Just like this offseason, they're not in a position to give Juan Soto $600 million, whether we like it or not.
Right. Exactly.
So they got to do it a little differently. Would our opinion change if Shohei Otani was a Padre? Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
Just like every Padres fan's opinion would change on Shohei Otani. So we'll get you ready, though, tomorrow. We will get you ready for game one of the World Series.
He's a Dodger, so I hate him. There you go.
There you go.
That's what happens.
All right, who do you like tonight? You said you like the Vikings by 2 touchdowns.
Probably more or less like 10 points. Give me a double-digit win for the Vikings tonight.
Okay, I think the
Even
Vikings.
though the Rams do have Cooper Kupp and Puka the quarterback, which to make me eat my words a little bit.
Vikings -3 on the road in LA, Thursday Night Football to kick off Week 8 in the NFL. You can hear it coming up momentarily right here on San Diego Sports 760. If you missed anything today, I'd say go to sportssd.com. What's that? I'd say go to what is it? Sportssd.com. What did I say? San Diego Sports. Yes. Well, whatever. Don't go anywhere because I'm not even sure if the podcast is going to be posted today.
Oh, Booker Rupp's in the house.
What's up, AJ? How are you, man?
What's up, man? What's up?
We're signing off. All right. Vikings, Rams coming up next. We're back tomorrow at 3. For Jim, for Brent, I'm John. Keep it here. Vikings, Rams next. San Diego Sports 760.